alfalfa it today? I don't want my hat on anymore.
Oh, you have a haircut today, don't you? Or did you already get one?
Yeah, I mean, I got the haircut yesterday, but I've been wearing a hat.
Hat things.
So I put the hat on right after the haircut. It did crazy things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's it just has an alfalfa thing.
Got a little Dennis the Menace on the back.
I can do like my grandmother did.
Just grab a little bit of water.
Did you?
My fingers
Did you
in
lick?
my-
Did you lick your fingers and smooth it?
I dipped it in my water.
Oh, you
I
got it.
didn't she would always dip a napkin and wipe your face, but it was always in like the ice water at the restaurant.
My mom used to
I
do the
as
same
I'm
thing.
saying this, I can remember sitting at the restaurant in Snyder Plaza where there was a Mexican restaurant that she loved that would serve butter, and she would put butter on, or she would dip her chips in butter and salsa, and then she would wipe my face with the napkin dipped in ice water, and I always hated it.
So a tortilla chip dipped in butter and then in salsa.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep. Like those little
I'm gonna
pads
try
of
that.
square butter she'd knock off a corner with a chip, and you didn't like that? I remember this now.
Just
Interesting. I would try that.
What is going on, everybody? Hello! Welcome to whatever today is.
It's
I have no recollection of time. Don't even tell me. It doesn't matter.
Nutrimentia finally got COVID. You say that like you've been waiting.
Like you got a badge of honor or something. You mean you
Yeah.
got the flu? I can confirm what everybody else knows. It sucks, yeah.
I can confirm that I have never had it. Woo!
there you go. I have.
I'm
It
one of
sucks.
those magic people.
All I know is I've gotten sick like 2 or 3 times during this whole shebang, and I don't know.
I haven't
got
even
sick.
really gotten sick. I just, there have been a couple times where I've felt a little meh,
I got
but
sick.
not to where I would
One
call it
time I
sick.
had a high fever.
Yeah, he
What
did
else
get
do
sick.
I know? I don't know.
He did get sick around the time that like 3 other people tested positive for COVID.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's true.
I ain't scared.
Thank you. You might hear my mic bang around a bit here.
I'm like, what is that?
Trying to fix this from this side rather than the other side. Stuff has been moved around so much in our studio, and I feel like I'm gonna have to go.
It
Like,
sounds
go look
okay.
at the last couple of things. Do those really quick. On here. How is everybody's Tuesday going so far, chat?
Well, we know how Nutrimentious is going.
Yeah. It's a little bit of a bummer when Tuesday. God, I can't even remember what day it is. I feel like I've been running around with like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to get all this stuff.
Been busy with
Sorted.
coming up for sure.
Yeah.
Too much going on.
He did that scale by scale.
I don't. Yeah.
You really did.
We've been
Crazy.
calling it scale jail around here.
Yeah. It was one of those things where it was like I started with big broad strokes and kind of like sketched out the
Oh, he definitely
The
did
highlights.
big broad strokes for the base layers
yeah,
and
and
the
then
gradient. Yeah, and then he just outlined and highlighted.
Oh,
Yep. and refined everything. But it took a long time. Looks good though. I'm happy with it.
Nutra says, and I don't get to meet the team at Nova. Were you gonna go? Oh, you had to cancel Labor Day weekend camping plans? Oh wait, well, so you weren't going to Nova anyway. Or were you going camping at Nova?
Camping at Nova.
Was that the thing? Were you gonna like have a tent outside the hotel?
Outside the White House.
You're just gonna camp on the front lawn, the east lawn,
On the National Mall.
National Mall.
In the water.
Yeah, good thing there's only 1 million of those scales.
There's like 1.5 million.
There's a lot.
There's like an even 1.5 million.
There's a few. There's a few things, few stuffs. I don't.
You're only missing out on meeting Jordan and Jason. So, I mean, you see them here every day anyway.
It's true.
They're
Maybe
pretty
we
much
should
the
do this
same
real
in
quick.
person.
Oh.
I mean, you are. You're the same in person.
We're very different in person.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I know you guys in person.
I see you
You're pretty
guys in
much the
person every
same.
day. I think Jen, of all people, could probably attest
somebody
to
likes
us
us.
being much the same people in person.
Yeah.
What? We are totally fake on stream.
Yeah?
Oh yeah.
Yeah? Super
I am
fake.
not this way in real life.
Oh, no.
I am much nicer.
Oh.
Dante Mac, thank you for the follow. Your signature set just showed up at the front door, Clockatron. Best day ever.
Well, huzzah, huzzah! I'll just
Neutra's
throw
like,
back
but they
my
haven't had the
legs
pleasure
and
of meeting
pollute my
me.
britches with delight.
See? I like how I turned that around.
Walking harder, thank you for 21 months.
21 months.
Walking
What the?
harder.
It's approaching liar status, that guy.
Oh, it is 2 years, isn't it?
24 months. For some reason, he has like a star by his name. What the hell does that mean? I don't have a mouse at work, so I can't tell.
I got it.
No idea.
I will tell you. It says
That's not from us. Is it?
nothing. It
Nothing.
doesn't show me anything when I put my mouse over that.
Does it do that?
Maybe
when
he has to
everybody's
say
up?
something in chat. Maybe
It's one
that's not real.
subscriber.
Maybe that's not real.
Maybe that's not real.
The Streamlabs is a moderator and a bot. Because see on his real
Yeah.
when he talks it doesn't. It's
It
just
gives him
his
the 1 year.
1 year, yeah.
The exploding heart. He's exploding with so much love for us.
Yay!
Yay.
Wait,
Yes, that's exactly what I said.
we want people to explode?
Huh?
Why do we want to blow people up?
It was his choice.
Scott Radum
What?
says, "Hey dudes,
Scott, what's going on?
it's all
What's up,
right.
Scott?
That's okay."
I am going to put my paints back.
You're gonna put your paints back.
Yeah, I need to do this. This is a necessity. My paints need to go back in the
That's
thing. I was
pretty
going to say because they have to go to the show, but that's not the case, is it?
They're already there.
Yeah.
We do still need to pack models,
I got to put models together, but
which is the whole thing.
Mo has a question.
sure.
Could
No.
you go over the intended uses for the heavy titanium white?
So all of the heavies, right? Well, all two of them right now, are based around the technique of tip loading, right? Loaded brush, you might have heard it called. Tip loading. There's a number of names for it, and it's a process by which you. Here, I'll show you. Get a model. Let's get a model. Let's get a tester.
I'm gonna go one painter so
One
that we can
painter.
see this.
I grabbed like the smallest model I have.
Medium love for us guys.
This will work.
Just medium, not large or extra large.
Take the white. It's just thicker enough than our normal paints that it won't race up into the bristles of your brush as quickly as a normal liquid acrylic will. Let's grab another color that's noticeable. Grab some royal purple. And so when you do loaded brush, the idea, I'll just grab a number 2 brush. The first step is to get your brush wet as normal. Load some paint on it, right? And so now you have paint where the purple has drawn up into the bristles as normal. You can paint like how you want to with this, right? But then you get and just put a little bit of white at the tip, right? So now I have white and then purple. So imagine I can do like this highlight where I just barely touch the brush, get that point of white there, and then as I start to press, I immediately get a blend of color in that I can work back from that. Okay, so with one brush pass, I'm able to go from a very bright, in this case with the white, into this kind of mid-tone coloring that I've got going on back here. Now I've messed it up because I brought the brush, I've used the white part up. Okay, do it again and I'll show you.
So you first do the color that you want.
Yeah,
and
you
then
put the color
do
that you're
the-
looking for, and then you're working from your tint spot. Although you can brush load with darker colors too, right? But typically you're wanting to do it as a spot highlight type of thing. So get your brush loaded with color, take a little bit of that off so it's not too heavy duty. You don't want so much paint on there. And then just a little poke of white. Right, so I've got pure white and it's loaded with purple. And then I can come in here and I can just grab, anywhere. Like, let's say I want to do a
little
blend
lower
across
down.
the top of this arm, right? I can very
It's a little
lightly...
off out of frame.
Oh, sorry.
There we go.
I can very lightly take the white portion that's on here, right? And kind of bring it across and I get pure white, right? Because that's what's at the tip. But then as I work back and forth, notice how I start to bring in the paint that's in the rest of the body of the brush, right? So you get that blend from that area. And I'm doing it very stark so you can still see the bright white there. And then it blends back into the normal color. Till by the end of that, you really just have, the normal color and you can blend that in how you want.
That's pretty cool.
And as I said, see at the end, I have no white at all. So if I go back over that, it just gets rid of it entirely. So it's I would call it a very specialized technique. People that use it a lot, it becomes less specialized for them. I find that I don't like it as much for larger surfaces, but for small pin highlights and things like that, it's an absolute amazing way to do edge highlighting, non-metallic metal, final brightness, and things like that. It works like a champ. And having that thicker white that doesn't, because you can see that you don't want the white to retreat up into the bristles like the normal paint did, because then you get blended paint in the brush the whole way, and now you just have like one color of, in that case, like, a lighter purple in the brush, and you don't get a blend. So you need white that just sticks at the tip, so you can drag that and get the white going, and then as you press on the brush, the purple starts to flow in and give you the blend. Okay? Just a really neat, quick, simple way to get basically what would be wet blending done, right? But only having to load the brush once. Ooh, do it. Can we make a heavy coal black, please? We are planning on making a heavy black. Slave Far, PK Pro should have them. Have we heard anything about that? I think they should have been cleared through customs. They should be on their back door. So hopefully that's happening within the next day or so. Slayer Street, it rocks. It covers nicely and flows beautifully. Had to go back and order the core set. Heck yes.
Nice.
I love it. Love it. You can go back to two-player.
Two-player. We're co-oping this. Well, I guess we do co-op all of our streams.
Two-player if you want.
Okie dokie. I think, just about done. Finally. Just about. A couple of more little dots here and there, and then we're done.
So would a heavy black be better for more coverage? Because Despon is
No, not
saying,
really.
thank goodness I need a coverage stronger than coal black.
I mean, coal black has got a really good coverage. You just don't thin it. Remember, our paints don't need to have a lot of thinning like other people's paints do. A lot of bad habits are picked up in the hobby world because you paint with paints that require a lot of thinning just to get them to work the way you kind of want them to work. Our paints work that way right out of the bottle. So any thinning you're doing, you're just thinning for opacity. So if you're putting a lot of water or using it on a wet palette, a lot of times what you're really doing is you're just making it less opaque, right? So just go straight out of the bottle with black and you shouldn't have any problems at all. You can go right over white with it. Works like a champ.
What are lies, Despon?
Huh?
He just said lies. I don't know what that means. I was
No,
asking
not
what
true.
that's in reference to.
Not true. Not true. We make this stuff, so we kind of know what we're talking about. I was doing my paint. Doing my paints. I don't know what's. Like my paints are not anywhere near in the right locations.
No, Source, you're lucky. Source does said, I'm kind of sad I started using Pro Acryl right after starting to paint. Now I don't get to have that, oh, this is nice experience that people who are used to other paints have when trying Pro Acryl for the first time.
It's like, this is just what you learn. This is what you know. Right? Nothing wrong with that.
That's kind of how I am too.
Yeah, Jen didn't really
I had
have
such
much.
limited experience with other paint lines before we started making our own that I'm definitely I'm very sheltered.
You're sheltered.
In my worldview.
It really is.
I think
it's
we talked
nice,
about
though.
this Despon. Did you shake it up really well?
Yeah, I think
Because
there's
it's
still
not
a
transparent
trouble with
black. It would be. Not a thing.
Not-
That only one bottle would have gotten mixed up like that. Does the label say transparent black? And we didn't hear an alert, but Miniac just raided us. Thank
What?
you for the
Whoa.
raid.
What? Scott the Miniature Maniac? Say it ain't so. It's
Hello.
really okay. So let's backtrack
Scott
a
the
bit.
Miniature
first.
Maniac.
Welcome, Raiders. Number one.
Welcome.
Welcome to my alfalfa hair. I took my hat off.
Oh, there it just went.
But I'm still beautiful, so it doesn't matter. And here is an owl.
You are the beautiful one.
Somebody
So-
likes us.
But I need to go back and say that we were not raided by Miniac. We were raided by Evan,
Oh.
right?
Well, that's just
Oh,
as
wait,
good.
wait,
I
wait.
felt
There's a
like
reason why
I
you need
sounded
to be-
disappointed, and I'm
There's-
not.
There's a reason why you need to be on this page, Jen, because
Okay.
a man that knows his grammatical context and who states that even in emails it is always best to capitalize proper names, right? He went to war, chat.
He went to war.
He went to war,
did?
and he may have lost the battle, but this war is bigger than some measly vote on a Twitch channel.
What the heck?
And for those of us that know, we know, and we back you, and we will die on this hill with you, Evan.
I don't know.
So,
I feel very lost.
lowercase letters, stop the vote. Allegedly. Allegedly. We might have gone in there and raised some hell today during the stream. I had some fun. I love Scott and Evan. They have a great show. If for some reason you've been living under a rock your whole life and you don't know these people, please go give them a follow. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know that there's a lot of hope for you if you don't know Scott, but, you know, you do you. No coincidence that Evan gets the shout out while also being a fellow Pro Acryl slappy. See? See? There's favoritism at play here. Not that we'll admit it out loud during stream, but it is so.
Does anybody want to give me more of an explanation of what's going on?
So
Because you said grammar, and that obviously piqued my interest.
Yeah, so Evan believes, as do I, that it is right when you write out an email address like jen@monumenthobbies.com, that at least in your gut you should capitalize that J,
Oh.
that leading J.
Hey,
Even though we
somebody
all know
likes
that
us.
digitally it means nothing,
Yeah.
right? That
Yeah.
it's going to get presented at the other end as lowercase letters or whatever. But that it is still the right and proper thing to do. And we got called boomers because that's the low-hanging fruit that people go to when they think,
It certainly
oh,
is.
you know, you're just old
Here's
and
why.
think you know better.
Because boomers don't know enough about email to know that it would.
Yeah, I was gonna say
So-
we're Gen X, by the way,
Yeah.
and we don't get things wrong.
Exactly.
Somebody likes us.
We don't
Thank
get
you
things
for
wrong.
saying it out loud.
We're the first generation to grow
Oh,
up with all
no.
these toys you guys think you own.
Oh my goodness.
So we're all right. We'll be all right, fam.
So-
Scott lives in a lawless land.
So
You're
here's-
not the boss of me.
Here's a legitimate question. How do you feel about email addresses that are designed, intended to be, like, when I created my email address, I did it with a lowercase letter.
Mhm.
Because, for whatever reason, that's what I did.
Mhm.
If I capitalize it, I feel weird because it's not what I originally wrote. But if I had put it as a capital, I would
So
feel
every
weird
time you write
not
a proper
capitalizing it.
name, do you feel bad if you lowercase it?
Yes.
Then you're doing okay.
Okay.
Because on my business card, which I had to admit publicly during the stream, that is Evan's stream, not Scott's, that my business card is a lowercase j, jason@monumenthobbies.com. Because that's the proper way to present an email address to people. But I
Yes.
always feel bad that there is a proper name on there that is not capitalized.
See,
I do not.
mine's my perspective is a little different on it. It's more of because for
Well, then
me,
you're wrong and you don't have to speak.
Okay.
Nutrimentia, amen. You are right.
Bye.
We have lost Jordan. Jordan has left the building. But
Nutrimentia for the Oxford comma. Yes.
But it's not a name, it's an email address. Well, by that logic, no names are names anyway. They're all just words in a book, right? The whole written language is based around the representation of what the
somebody
word
likes
is a placeholder for, right? It's my name in the email. I think the root of this, Evan, is that we just don't want to feel lesser. And I feel like emails are
Well,
stripping
huzzah! I'll just
our
throw back my legs and
personal
pollute my
recognition
britches with
from us.
delight.
What'll they take next?
Your
Taxes? Ninja Weasel plays. What's going on?
Hershey.
Hershey with the Twitch Prime.
Hey,
If it's
somebody
proper now
likes
and
us.
capitalize it. I'm with you, man. I'll die on that hill with you. I will prop you up back
at
to back,
this.
guns a-blazing, man.
Look at all
Pile
of
of brass.
the variations, though. Like
Well, huzzah,
Hershey,
huzzah. I'll just
in
throw back
when
my
it said
legs
Hershey
and
subscribe
pollute
with
my
Prime
britches with
Gaming,
delight.
it's all caps. But then when Streamlabs says it, it's all lowercase.
Right. See,
How
that's
do
the thing.
We know?
But in our brains, we know. So, like, we have names because what a capital is it's a line break almost. It's a place where you know that there was a stop and a start. So if you capitalize, you can use it in unique ways that are mind blowing. That where they put it like cap lowercase, cap lowercase, and it just looks funky. But capitals are line breaks. They're places that show stops and starts in things. They follow punctuation. They show proper names.
I realized something that drives me nuts. That puts me in the correct category here.
What's that?
When you create a Discord channel that's not a voice channel,
Right.
it forces it to be lowercase,
Lowercase.
and it drives me freaking nuts.
Exactly. See?
Yeah.
See? It's
You're
just a thing.
not. You're not supposed to use double spaces
Makes
after a
me
period.
so mad.
They changed that.
You're told you're not supposed to use double spaces after a period.
You are not. Only one.
Only one. I mean, it's also ignoring that Hershey is using leet speed, but yes. See, we still call that leet speed. In fairness, the
first,
poll
it's
was
still
closer than we're letting
Hershey.
it be known. APA only changed that in 2019. I stopped caring about the new rules before 2019. Double spaces forever. I'm with you, man.
No.
Gilded Lion,
It
I'm
looks
with you.
silly
Why
now.
do we change?
It looks
Why do
silly
we have
now.
to change? Right? Usually it's because they hired a new manager and that manager wants to feel self-important and puts new rules in place. I'm just going to throw it out there. That's why all of our problems occur here at Monument Hobbies is because everybody we deal with hires a new manager and then they change the way they deal with us. I got told that today by our retail display manufacturer. I got told that things are different now that the old guy we've been working with isn't there any longer.
Oh gosh.
In so many words. And I said, well, it didn't change the amount of money we pay you every year.
Exactly.
He was not very happy with that answer, but I think we got to an agreement. The AI tell double space, gotta get the old man. AI proofer to keep them double spaces.
No,
You abuse the mobile double space auto period. Well, that's
it's
true. Like at the
fully
end of a sentence, you
wrong.
can double space and it turns one of them into a period as soon as you do the second one, but it gives you a period and a single space. Then you have to double backspace when you meant for it to be a question mark. That's the problem. Zombies! The number of people that pronounce my username as Clarkatron, isn't it?
What a Clarketron?
Why is it not Clarkatron? Of course it's Clarkatron. Is it Clarkytron? That's not correct.
Clarktron?
Clarkatron.
Like, is your last name Clarke with the fancy E at the end, but still pronounced Clark? Yes.
The Spain
yes,
of
I
paint
was right.
versus thespian of paint, exactly.
I
The
definitely
Spain
screwed that
of
up
paint,
the
yes,
first time.
The thespian one is
The Spain
is
of
funny.
paint. He just needs to change the name.
All right, Clarktron. We'll never mess that one up.
What did he say?
He said that his name is Clark with an E. That's exactly what I said. I said, is your name Clark with an E?
It was Clarktron.
So it's
Your name is Clark,
Clarktron.
not Clarka.
It's
Clarka.
Clarktron.
You're
not
forever now
Clarkatron.
Clarka. I think that if correct grammatical usage can get overruled in a Twitch vote, that there's more of us that would like to call you Clarka. So now you're now Clarka.
I'll
Clarkotron.
I'll
Okay, now
call you
Clarkotron should be the way
Clarkotron.
it would be written. It's Clarkotron.
Clarkotron.
So I'll give you Clarktron.
Yes, Clarktron.
Clarktron, but the E is forever going to plague me, so I can't be held accountable if I mispronounce that, Clark, because I've been calling you Clarkotron for a long time. For a long time. I say we do a poll, and we see if we can get Clark to change his name to Clarkotron. It's Clarketron. Well, that's what
Okay.
Jen said.
Slave Far has a real thing to talk about here. I really like your paints.
Wait. These aren't real things?
I've only found, well, now it's gone. So I've only found two, and when we have these little silly fun conversations like this and chat kind of goes crazy, it's super important to tag someone like monument _ hobbies so that we can see, so that we don't miss the question. But going back, Slave Far said, I really like your paints, but I've only found two minor gripes. The paints separate overnight into their mix of pigments in a wet palette. So we could talk about that. And if
Well, both of these are the same thing, is that you're over thinning the paint. So there's a and this is a thing that will cause arguments in the artist internet, right? I this is kind of like the capitalization thing. I'll die on this hill. Wet palettes are not made for fluid acrylics. They're just not. Scientifically, the physics of it doesn't work. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't have paints that you can use on a wet palette that work okay, and our paints work on a wet palette great. Baby J, can we swap? Yeah, he uses a wet palette 100% of the time.
Yep.
Your wet palette needs to be drier than you're running it, because a lot of people are using a wet palette thinking that having more water on it keeps your paint better for longer, which is exactly opposite of the truth. What you need to do is make sure there is enough moisture underneath to counterbalance the lack of moisture on the top of the paper. Because the paint becomes the moisture on the top of the paper. There shouldn't be any wetness on the top of the paper at all, which makes the wet palette a very unusable piece of equipment for a lot of people in the art world, which is why prior to miniature painting, you never saw them anywhere. Like, nobody uses wet palettes in the regular art world except for some watercolorists that use paste watercolors and gouache. Those paints really do like to be on a wet palette because you're trying to over wet them to get them to the consistency you want for the visual effect on canvas or whatever surface you're painting. But what you're trying to do is keep that surface dry so that through osmosis, through water coming up through that membrane to replace the water that's evaporating out of your paint. Think about it from a pure, what it's good for. Your paint spot on top of the paper evaporates and starts to cure and dry out, right? Your lump of paint. And so as water moves away from this, the water underneath sees that and gets drawn up through it. Think about sucking water through a straw, right? Evaporation is sucking it out of the paint, and the paint or the water underneath from the sponge is coming up through the membrane to replace that in the paint to keep it workable for longer periods of time. Paste paints will stay workable for a lot longer because they have less water in them in that initial evaporation phase. They have more pigment and medium. And so they work a lot better that way. So we designed our paints based on how that works, okay? Not even taking into consideration wet palettes, because a wet palette is an unnecessary tool in a lot of people's opinion. Doesn't make it unusable, right? But when you're trying to say you want your acrylic paints, your liquid acrylic paints to be good tomorrow, that's a thing that we won't design our paints based around. Because in order to do that, I have to make the wrong paint, right, for it to be able to last in a wet environment overnight and it won't give you the same workability the next day no matter what. Nobody else's do. Paste acrylics will. So if you want to have mixes and things like that you do on your wet palette and can use them day after day after day, I would suggest going to heavy bodied acrylic pastes. But like I said, you can use a wet palette to make your extension of your mix work for as long as you want to paint during the course of your session, and that's great. Okay, so what's happening is your wet palette is over thinning and separating out the pigments because you're extending. Whenever we just drew on a card, but I don't know if it held up. Oh, I always do this. I don't even know which one it was. Okay, here. We did on one of our cards. This is kind of a layman's view of paint. You can imagine that all of these little circles that I've drawn are pigments, right? And then in a web of urethane medium, right? Polymer that is acrylic, and that web holds it all together, right? Lets the pigment float in the suspension, which is then water and as the solvent, right? And as the water evaporates, these bonds draw close, heat up, and give you acrylic, plastic, dried paint, okay? And so when you put too much water, if you keep adding water in here, it stretches these bonds, right? You can imagine like from this piece of pigment to this piece of pigment can stretch really far. And eventually the medium breaks. It can't hold a bond between them anymore. And the net gets so large between particles of pigment that they just roam around freely. They're not held in place anymore. And again, this is not, like a chemist would argue with me because the pigments are never held in a specific location in the paint, right? But they are held together with an attraction that keeps them closer in the mix. And when you start thinning the mix, they start spreading apart. And eventually that attraction goes away entirely. You've broken the medium. The medium will no longer cure correctly. The pigment will get lumpy, and you'll have problems. So you'll notice this mostly when you're learning to glaze and you start thinning your paint out, and as you're painting with it, that glaze starts accumulating color in cloudy methods, so you've got paint that builds up in certain locations. It means you've overstretched the paint's ability to go that thin. And generally, you've missed the point where the opacity you were really looking for existed anyway. A lot of times people just go too thin because they think, I'll just add a bunch of water and I'll put it down there and I'll do 30 layers. If you have to paint your glaze in 30 layers, you could have done it in 3 and got the same exact thing but with better results. So just try with our paint specifically, just don't go as wet, right? Because if you're finding our paints to be more brittle, it's because you've over thinned them and layered them up, and each layer is super, super thin and offers no protection. And you can literally like rub off like glazed color off of models. I can do it with anybody. You insert manufacturer's name here and you can make it happen. You just over wet it, right? The difference between Pro Acryl and a lot of other paints that you'll see out on the market and what we believe is our trick of the trade, so to speak, is that other paints, in order to get anywhere near the amount of pigment that we have in our paint, have to give you a heavier paint. It feels thicker, more like snot, or, you know, it when you put it in your fingers and rub it, it feels kind of nasty, like ketchup or something, right? Our paint feels lighter, it feels thinner, but it has more pigment than those other brands. So that means it's ready to paint with right out of the bottle. You don't have to mess with it. You don't have to water it down. You'll see that when I do my tutorials and how we paint here is only with the moisture on the brush. The only time I'm adding a lot of water to my brush is when I am glazing very, very thin filters. Other than that, you just put you clean your brush. We've got a video on YouTube. Clean your brush, wipe it off on a paper towel, go to the paint and paint. You can do anything with it. You don't have to. You know, I use a dry palette, so this is a piece of glass, right? So, you know, that's the difference, is that our paint already starts off at that viscosity that's perfect for painting miniatures, because we're miniature painters and we know what we want. And you don't have to fiddle with it to get it to be a good miniature paint. And we don't have to cheat that to get more pigment. So, again, just less moisture with our paint. It's not a problem with paint. A lot of people want to say we're hydrophilic or hydrophobic. All that's BS. It's a liquid acrylic with water as a solvent. It is neither of those. It's a water-based product, right? So it just needs less water to act normally, and every amount of water that you add to it lowers its opacity the way you expect from a paint, the way you would from a paste paint. If you put a paste paint out on your palette, every amount of water you added to it was deliberate to get it to flow and lower its opacity. Right? The same with ours. We've basically created as close to an actual paste artist acrylic you can get in a liquid form. Ketchup bath night is the best night of the week. I don't want to even hang out with you people.
Death Spawn, send us video would be ideal to show what you're seeing in your coal black. But pictures, just something that will show the issue that you're seeing so that we can look at it.
Back my legs
We're definitely passionate about it. We make our paint.
And send it to support@monumenthobbies.com, please.
Yeah, the heavy-bodied stuff that we talked about, like the heavy white, the heavy titanium white, now move the viscosity into a heavier body on purpose to be able to do the loaded brush technique that Ben and Matt use so often, so that it doesn't retreat into the bristles. We talked about that at the beginning of the show, and I showed very quickly the loaded brush technique, and that has a specific use. So it becomes more. Our heavy paints are in between what you get out of a tube acrylic and what you see from our liquid acrylics. And they're done specifically for that. You won't see many colors done in that way for that, because it's really a technique paint for those people that like the loaded brush technique.
Are you having trouble with whites, Tim? Because Discord, if you're having trouble with anything, the best place to send them is support@monumenthobbies.com.
Yeah, he was saying that his regular white and his transparent white were thicker than the heavy white.
You gotta, send it to support. That way it gets to the right person.
Impasta makes me want
And we
pasta.
can give you the best
It's in
help.
the name. It's in the name. I saw a ton of comments going on while I was doing that. Did we get them all? Did we answer people's questions? Do we know? Scrolling back through everything that was being said while I was talking.
I think it was just oh, we did miss Gilded Lion Mini's question about should I have Olive Garden for dinner?
No.
No?
Keep going up if you
Olive
would.
Garden?
Keep
I mean,
scrolling up if you
he
would.
wants Olive Garden.
I mean, if you want Olive Garden, that's fine. There are better options, in my humble opinion.
There's not any.
Oh yeah, and the owl miniature is from Hit
yeah,
Point Press.
I answered that one.
Jen
in
answered that
chat,
one.
Yeah.
Hit Point Press is called a Strignite, Strig, I think, Strig, which must be like the race of owl people or something like that. I don't really know. Not something I know.
Yeah, I think everything.
You know what
else
you do
is-
know, though? How cool that model is.
Yeah, this is my favorite model of all time. For those of you that are just showing up, if you have not been around while I've been painting, Percival Chevalier, the fifth, first of his name, ruler of worlds, fighter of ankles, slicer of Achilles.
Slicer of Achilles.
This is my favorite model I've ever painted. Now I actually have an answer to that question. That has been one of the toughest questions for me to answer throughout my life and my career of painting. Is
What's your
people
favorite?
ask a lot, like, what's your favorite color and what's the favorite what's your favorite model you've ever painted?
Now you have
And I've
an
never
answer.
had an answer for favorite model, and I rarely have an answer for favorite color because we make
Favorite
colors
color
and they're
depends
all
on
my
the
favorite
model.
colors. But now I have an answer for favorite model. This has been my favorite model of all time. Hands down, not even close. Not even close. But yeah, wet palettes are a fantastic tool. You just have to learn to use them right. And I will tell you that to a person, everyone that has contacted us and that we have shown how to, and there's one simple step: take your wet palette top paper. You do your sponge the way you want to, wet it, let it float in water, whatever. Take your palette paper, run it under the faucet with warm water, hot water if you want, right? Depending on how thick the paper is. I know some of the new ones have a much thicker membrane. Run it under hot water, right? Wad it up, right? Crinkle it up, wad it up, make sure it's completely saturated with water. Then lay it down, take a ruler or some flat, squeegee-like device and squeegee all that water out of it, right? To where now you've basically dried it without drying it. It'll still have the membrane open to allow water to pass through. It'll have water sitting in the threads, if you will, but it'll feel dry. Then place that over your sponge and put weights on the corners, pennies, whatever, and you'll be set. Your wet palette will work better than it ever has if you do that.
And Dustpon, when Nutramentia asked if you physically stirred it, he literally meant did you stir it, not shake it. If any pigment settled to the bottom, it might stay down there no matter how much you shake it. So you can take a toothpick or something, right? Would you use a toothpick?
Yeah, like a
to stir
toothpick
it?
or something.
Yeah, something that will reach
That
to the
would
bottom.
be a really
obviously.
odd problem to have.
It
with
would
a
be,
paint,
but
though.
I mean, if shaking it is not helping, then maybe that's something. Who knows? He's in Canada too, so I don't.
Again, if you're saying you're having a problem with a paint, we have to see it,
Yeah.
because the way our manufacturing works, we can without a doubt tell you there are no batch problems with our paints, period. And so we want to try to zero it into how you're using it, or there's a chance a mislabeling occurred if it were the fact that he got a bottle that was not labeled on an initial run and it looked black and they did transparent black, or it was transparent black and they did coal black and then labeled it in with a main run. There's a chance, but I mean, it would be like literally you hit the needle in the haystack.
Yeah, that would be a very, 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 very slim chance.
Yeah, they had a big statue of the Strig Knight at Gen Con.
A full
That's what
size
mad me is, the
statue.
poster of him and all that stuff. It's crazy. Such a cute model, and I don't go for cute models, but it's the best. It's the best.
Gilded Lion, I'm gonna say go for the Olive Garden if that's what you are feeling tonight.
Don't let anybody shame
Yeah.
you from away from Olive
Sometimes
Garden.
you just want salad and breadsticks, and there is nothing wrong with that. Even
In
if
winter,
there's a
you can
great
do
local,
soup salad and breadsticks.
even if there's a great local Italian place, the comfort and familiarity and convenience of Olive Garden is sometimes the way to go.
UMT team dry top paper, but use the Army Painter stuff, and that seems best there. The Army Painter wet palette. You still don't understand how my paint drops last on a dry palette? You want me to show you? You do. You've seen me do it. I really need our freaking palette paper. Where's our palette paper? Did you know? Did you tell me at some point in time where it went?
The palette paper?
Yeah.
Probably.
Is it in like the back of the bag? Maybe?
In the bag that we take to the shows, it's
Which is in the apron, right?
yeah, it should be. Just doing some last minute color filters on this model before calling
Slave
it
Far,
done.
we make everything here in this building that we're in right now. We do not have an external paint supplier. There are people right on the back of this building putting paint in bottles as we speak. Right. But what I'm saying is that sometimes, you might need to stir it in the bottom. Like if any pigment settles down to the bottom, which again would be unusual, especially in coal black, it might be down at the bottom.
Well, I hope he was able to find it.
Nutrimentia, you still don't understand how Jason's paint drops last on a dry palette. He puts only a drop out at a time, pretty much, and then just puts more out if he needs more.
You find it?
Why is the paint palette always the hardest thing to find?
Was it not in the bag?
No, it's not in the bag because we use the acrylic palette in there.
Oh,
It has
we
the-
did.
Yeah, it has the acrylic palette in there. So
Where
we
did
use-
it?
Oh, it's right here.
Oh, okay. There's
Underneath a hill on
other
the
things. Okay. When we get back and there's no impending show,
Chat, we have like a 6x4 game table in the studio
I'm gonna go
that
through
doesn't get gamed on, and therefore is a storage compartment.
Wait. I'm confused. MCXL is saying that water should be enough that your sponge is overflowing. That's not correct, right? It should be not.
What's that?
I'm just looking back at all the comments and stuff, and it's MCXL is saying the water should be enough that your sponge is overflowing.
The sponge in the bottom side of the paper should be wet. It can be sitting in water,
Okay.
right? Like
It's the top
like-
that should not be.
Jordan right now has water underneath his paper.
Yeah.
On the top of it should be dry paper.
Okay.
Or
as
yeah,
close
the,
to
okay,
dry
the
paper.
top.
This
That's
is
why I
dry
was
to the
confused.
touch. I don't
Yeah, you should
dampen
never
the
see
top.
puddled water or shiny spots on the top of the palette paper, other than the paint itself, right? In a perfect world. Now, again, a tool is only as good as for you as you want to use it, and it does the right work. So if you flood your palette and you get great use out of it, go for it. Don't listen to me. I'm just telling you how the science of paint works and what you want to be trying to do. Now, the question was posed as to you don't understand how I keep my paint
On a dry palette.
going for so long on
Yeah.
a dry palette, because I just use a piece of glass. There's no madness. I don't use any drying retarder or anything like that, right? So I'm gonna put two colors out. I'm gonna show you how I paint, basically. So let's just say we were doing a
As a
leather
thought,
workup, right? So I'll take some warm brown and some advanced flesh tone here.
Jason and Jordan will be, they will be at Nova painting. Is it like an open paint area?
We'll have extra chairs that people can come sit with us, and if you want to paint and try our colors, you can come try
Yeah,
the
it's
colors.
not
It's not like a communal
not
paint.
like
No,
a Fort Wapple
No.
kind of
We
thing.
have a booth at the Capitol Palette area. A booth. We have 2 8-foot tables, some chairs. We'll have Go Bag Evos, our travel bags out there with paint. All 2 full sets of our paint. The backdrop models that we're painting, and just come hang out. We've got some stickers to give out. We've got fun stuff, but it's a pretty basic thing. Atlantis Games and Hobbies is selling paint sets for us there. But it's a pretty basic hangout show. So it's a great time if you're at Nova to come and just get to chill with us. So number one, your droplet. The first thing you don't want to do is, here, let me put out another drop of paint.
Gabe,
here.
I need you.
Let's put a third color out. I'll show you what not to do. And we see a lot of painters do this on YouTube for, I think just because when you're painting for video, as Jordan well knows, and Scott and Evan well know, is that you're not as concerned with the process necessarily, unless you're speaking directly to the process. You're concerned about getting paint on the model. So a lot of people do very sloppy techniques on like YouTube videos that we watch, and it can create some bad habits, because you'll see a lot of people on their palette do this, right? Spread the paint out real thin and then go back to it and grab it again. By increasing the surface area of the paint, meaning that I took what was a little droplet and I spread it out over a large surface, it's still the same color, it's still workable for a little bit, but the problem is that now you have more of it touching air, which increases the ability for evaporation to occur instantly, right? So you're going to have that, as you increase the space the paint takes up, and it thins out over that space, it evaporates quicker, you lose the ability to work with it. That happens on a wet palette too. That's why a lot of people flood their wet palette, because they have these big puddles of paint, and in order to keep that paint workable, the palette's got to be wetter, because you've spread it out, it's going to dry quicker, okay? So instead what you do is you take your drop, and when you want to go get paint, you just pull a little tail, just barely touch the side of the paint droplet and pull some paint out like this, right? Now I have workable paint here. Want to mix it with this over here, right? Pull this out, boom, workable paint. Now I can do my mix in between, okay? So I can pull however much I need, do a third mix over here. I still have the original paint in its base form, right? That I can take and draw it over here and do something different with. Maybe I don't want it as thin, so I pull out more, add less water to it, whatever, right? And same thing over here, just pull out another tail over here. So you have all of this peripheral area to work with to pull tails of paint out, but you always have the original consistency and hue to go back to work with. That's why you'll look at my paint palette and it looks like an explosion, right? Because each little spot of paint has tails coming out of it, and lots of, depending on how long I was using it, sometimes in lots of different directions. Sometimes in only one, because I'm just pulling paint downward from it, so it gets a whole motion to my palette. But yeah, I don't have to add paint very often, and we live in Arizona, right? The studio's here in Arizona. It's super dry, and I can work paint for a very long time. Also, don't put out as much paint, right? A lot of people are very overzealous with the amount of paint they put out on their palette to use at any given time. You don't really need that much. We thin most of our paint anyway, you know? So just going over here, and you can work that paint. That droplet will take a long time to actually cure because there's quite a bit of paint there. See? But all of these out here will start to cure pretty quick because they're fairly thin. So what happens on the normal palette when I'm not using this waxy paper is that, you know, your mixed color will show up like this, and then you'll know as you pull other colors into it, you'll have that as a starting point to make your mix match every time, right? But that's still all good paint. So all of our paints are freeze thaw tested 3 times. Now we only go down to negative 18°C, so I can't tell you what happens beneath that, because below that you're winding up that you're in a position that water-based material starts to crystallize. It actually freezes solid, and once you reach crystallization point in water-based products, they won't ever be the same, because the crystallization is a chemical process, and so you've now lost some of the body of the paint. So even when you thaw it back out, that's not going to be good. So while our paints are freeze thaw tested for normal use, if you order paints and they get delivered to your house in Manitoba at 9 a.m. and you're at work from 8 to 5, from 9 a.m. to 5 it's at, you know, minus 14°C or something like that, and it sits there and crystallizes, then there's no saving it, right? I mean, it might still be workable, but you're rolling the dice. That's just water-based products in general. There's no way around that without putting so much chemical base in it, like glycols, that the paint doesn't work the way you want it to anyway, right? When you've got the paint that doesn't ever freeze, you wouldn't be able to paint with it and get what you want out of it. So yeah, and that's just water-based product.
Source, sometimes they do, there's been a couple times where Jason's done some quick paint. He did a Lumineth Realm Lord's Army. He did quickly.
Oh yeah.
And then you should be able to, on our YouTube, we have some VODs of him painting but some BattleTech minis, and he did like 100
God, I
of
did
them.
47 in a week.
47.
10 days.
Jeez.
47 BattleTech miniatures in 10 days or something like that.
You painted so many models.
We were
during
moving
that
and
time?
shaking. Plus a drop ship.
Great.
We
And you did the drop
painted
ship.
that fake leopard drop ship too.
Yeah, you
right?
did.
Yeah, so every now and then I get the gusto, but I enjoy painting at a more methodical pace and spending more time on models than I do like army painting. Army painting is a goal. Like it's a goal. It's a in the moment goal because it's a process or it's a what's the right word I'm looking for? It's a need base, right? I need to have this army done for this weekend, right?
Yeah.
Or I have this challenge to do this. That's where army painting comes in for me. you know, because I would much rather just, focus on painting one model at a time and having fun with colors and creating a story on one model. Now, I could do that across an army. It's just that army's going to take a year to finish.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing it with my Blood Angels, right?
Yep.
I'm painting my Blood Angels and I'm treating them all as like individual, models, like display models, and I'm having a lot of fun with it, and it's great. But this army will never be finished.
This army will never be finished.
I mean, unless I'm playing Kill Team, I mean, I'll probably take Dante to Nova because I still got a lot of work to do on Dante, right? But
Jordan also did. There's some VODs of him painting a Seraphon army.
yeah,
And that necessarily wasn't speed paint, but it was definitely quicker than a display model. But you did it pretty quick.
Croak really fast.
You did paint Croak really fast. Yeah. What was
there's
it?
always
I
an
think you said
opportunity
like
to paint
6
quick.
hours.
And there's sometimes where just within a model you do something very, very quick. The non-metallic metal on this guy did super fast, and then just created a burnt sienna wash to put over it to give it that kind of rusted effect on the arm blades. That happened really fast. So sometimes even on a model you're taking a lot of time with, you speed up a process on one and get a really good result. Because I always look at a model as its constituent parts. It's a whole in my storytelling. Like when I look at the model and I say, what story do I want to tell? What color palette am I trying to use? What's the general feel, texture-wise, all that kind of stuff. So it is a composition in that manner. But when I'm putting the brush to the model, it's each individual piece is its own thing. And sometimes you're like, I need to speed paint this part because it's irrelevant. Or there's a really good technique for doing this fast that gets the look I want. And then you spend 40 hours on the face, but you painted the hair in 5 minutes. And they go well together because you're picking and choosing the technique for the style you're trying to create, and each textured thing on a model has its own style sometimes. I think a lot of people get locked into the thought that when I'm painting a whole model, it has to represent one whole style, and that's okay if it's like, and we're going to existential conversations now. It's like grimdark. It's like, okay, what does that even mean, right? Because you might want to do a grimdark model with a plasma pistol. You can't paint a plasma pistol grimdark. You still got to paint it as a light source, right?
Yeah.
Regardless of what you want to do. It can make it gritty looking, but you still have various aspects of, even on that Nurgle model that looks like it was yanked up out of the mud, you still may want to pick out some really cool spots, like an eyeball that's really clean, that contrasts the rest of it so well that helps you tell the story.
Yeah.
And so every model is a bunch of individual parts that I tend to want to look at in their own way. It doesn't mean that at the end of the model there's a whole lot of difference between those parts. They may all fall victim to the same technique if I'm going fast, or just because I want it to look a certain way. But don't ever get, wrapped up in the, everything has to go together. It goes together because it's attached to the same model. They taste better after freezing anyway. Horrible jersey. Horrible.
Paint popsicles.
Oh, that's right. It was the Loaf, Arctic Mini Painting Studios. That's right. We called the dropship the Loaf because it's not like an actual dropship from BattleTech.
No, it's just a loaf of bread.
Yeah, it looks like a loaf of bread.
It does look like a loaf
So
of bread.
we called it the Loaf.
I didn't realize it opened. I was picking it up.
Yeah,
the
it
other
holds
day
4
and-
models in it.
and
It
you
holds
can
a
open
lance.
it up.
It's called a lance carrier.
So cool.
Yeah, it's like a miniature case.
Yeah.
The problem is that a bunch of my miniatures are 3D printed, and the hex base is just a hair bigger. So I gotta like grind down some of the faces of the hex so it fits in there, because it fits the Catalyst ones perfect.
Okay. That's cool.
So as long as I'm only playing with Catalyst Game Labs stuff, then we're all right. I keep telling Miniac that we ought to get together. I'll fly up there and we'll do some BattleTech. People keep trying to get him to play BattleTech.
Oh yeah.
So I said I'd fly up and do a game with him.
I saw a box of BattleTech at Target yesterday,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Yeah,
to
Target
me.
and Barnes are both
So
carried.
cool.
Yeah, I don't know that Target has had any specific ones, but they get them early sometimes.
Yeah, it was like a starter box. It was cool. It was like I don't know. It felt like we're
Panic,
finally
just tell him to make a
making it.
date. Tell him to pick up the phone and call me, man. Scott, you still out there? No. Because I'm dead serious. I'm sitting down here dead serious. I told him that he should come to Nova, and I almost said that we would let him room with Jordan, and then he immediately went on a thing about how he's a grown-ass man and he doesn't have to share a room with people. So I was about to tell Scott I would drag his butt to Nova so he could hang out with us. But it literally was at the time. I was typing it, and he was talking with Evan about how they got 2 rooms for Adepticon this year, because he and John generally share a room. And they got 2 rooms this year because
And he loved it?
because they're grown-ass men, and they don't have to share beds anymore.
Target's has an exclusive BattleTech starter box. Is
Okay, cool. Yeah. Oh,
are
that's
they-
right. They did. They got an exclusive starter box. Yep.
Are they
you're right.
exclusive models? Like, are they models you can only get in that box? Is it just
No,
book?
they're just put together in a way that's
Okay.
specifically for them.
Okay.
So I'm very bummed.
Oh,
Why are you
no.
bummed?
I have the pile of bodies,
no.
but it's too small. I need to call these people and have them do it at like ×2, because it loses the scale. I wasn't thinking, these are 32 mil bodies, but this will be what it is. It's a pile of medieval bodies, and now I just have to have him scale it up and print it for me at 2 times so that he can stand on top of it and he'll feel like an absolute minuscule piece of the puzzle. But this big pile of bodies, because that's a really cool model, but they're just not big enough. I got a bunch of body piles, but he's a small model, but compared to other models, I wasn't thinking. I should have picked up a Space Marine because he's Space Marine size.
Oh wow, he is.
Right? I got so used to him being such a tiny little cute model, and then I forgot that, in scale, he's actually bigger than all these dudes. So that was money misspent. If anybody needs some body piles, call me. I have to call him back and have him do it at double size. I was bummed about that one. I got all excited the box showed up, and then I was like, oh. You'll try BattleTech at Dragonfall?
Ooh.
I still got to figure that thing out. I didn't realize it's in the middle of nowhere. Where do I fly, Zambies? Like, how do I get there? Like, it's such a regional show that I think they assume everybody just drives.
You need a private jet.
I think, dude,
Yeah.
you have to, take a helicopter
we're
and,
gonna rent a
parachute into the
helicopter for you?
location or something.
Helicopter.
I got to, parachute into
Parachute
the
in.
location.
Yeah.
Where, what state is it in?
Wisconsin. Cheeseheads.
So it's in Wisconsin.
It's in Wisconsin.
Take a horse and buggy.
Horse and buggy. Do they have those?
Death Spawn has a question for you, Baby J.
Uh-huh.
If you have a second, when you're done with your mini, can you take that yellow plasma shin guard and just take coal black out and just do one brush stroke on camera? It will tell me everything I need to know about my coal black.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Like on you're saying on a yellow?
No, he's talking about this guy.
Yeah.
So I painted up this guy the other day. Well, so Deathspawn's the one that's having trouble with
Right.
their coal black, and they just want to see what the coverage is like over something really bright, I think is the idea.
Like yellow or white or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm painting orcs now.
I'm trying not to put it over itself twice. There. I mean, you don't get more opacity than that, do you?
Yeah, it's it's pretty good opacity. I've never had any issues with our coal black, and
Probably should have picked something that wasn't cylindrical to paint, but, not a smart man. Yeah. There are no opacity issues with black. Shouldn't be. Now, with a number 4 brush, if I put, more water on it, I can get it to the point to where I can probably see some yellow through it. That's a lot more thinning to it. But that didn't actually work very well.
we have to really
it's
try.
Still really opaque. There we go. So here's a whole brush loaded with it, with water. And so now I can filter it really easy. But that's the difference. It actually filters really good too. A lot of blacks get really grainy, like a lot of whites, when you want to go filter them real quick. But I mean, they're dirty yellow real quick.
This Spawn, you're almost positive yours doesn't do that? As in, go on thin like he just did, or so that the yellow's not showing through?
I think he was worried about opacity. He was saying it
Yeah.
wasn't opaque. Like I said, just send us photos or video to support.
Yeah.
I'll get you squared away. Someone yell at Nova to make their website better. You could just say, someone yell at insert convention name here
That's true.
to make their website better. You would think that Gen Con had a good website. Nope. Hobby Haven, in addition to the Monument Paint Bar, just sadly, they are 2 floors apart. Yeah. And there's a chance when we get there we could set it up differently, I guess. I don't know. We're kind of at our own leisure to do what we want. I think they wanted us up by the Capitol Palette because we're sponsoring it, but, you know, at one point in time they wanted to put us in the hobby area, the Hobby Haven, right? So when we get there, we'll figure it out. If we have to move everything, we can move everything. I don't care. I'll come down there and paint. We'll leave one of us at the booth upstairs and one of us downstairs for some of the time. We'll be all over the place. It ain't gonna be a bad deal.
Thank you for the follow, Balragus.
Thank you.
Vez, you say you drive in from one state over? Well, Zambi's just saying flying to Milwaukee, which is what I thought, but it's a long way from the airport. Like, it's in the middle of nowhere, like it's some lake.
Is that a lake?
Well, it's some resort thing. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Some resort hotel. Anyone got one of them extra beds at Adepticon? Dry. It says dry-lipped Evan. Did you not get the chance to get a room? They sold out super quick this year. Adepticon has just like outgrown its ability to, you know, be at that facility, and they know it. There's just not a lot of choices for them right now. There's one other event space. It's like down towards Chicago, but it's like so old, and the owners of the property won't do anything to fix it up, and they don't want it there because it's like a catastrophe. Like bathrooms overflowing.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's
Heck no.
Yeah, Zambi's like an hour away, so I got to take an hour Uber. What?
Or rent a car.
Yeah, this may not happen.
As a thought, we will have.
I guess I could rent a car. That just seems like a
paint
waste. I'm not going to use it
there.
the whole damn weekend.
Right, because you use it to get there and get back.
I'm literally going to rent a
Yeah.
car so that I can. I need it as a shuttle.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will have
Well-
our new signature series sets at Nova. Or the
You
we
were
will have
very
the paint
asleep.
with
Wait a
us.
minute. You were asleep when Adepticon's rooms went on? They went on at noon Central Time. Who sleeps then? That's like 10 a.m. our time. I had to get our rooms at an hour before that. 9? Yeah, 9 a.m. 9 or 10? I don't remember.
I remember it was pretty
9.
early.
9 a.m. McCormick Place might have been it, Jade. I don't remember. Hank was telling me about it, and he was like, the investment, it's one of two things. The facility isn't the type of facility he wants Adepticon at, or they want you to sign such a long term with them to get the deals, and he doesn't want to commit. Because the place that Adepticon is at is actually, you know, stepped up and is
Super
going to
nice.
enlarge the facility, build a parking structure and all that. It's just
That
when,
takes time.
you know, they're not doing it for Adepticon, so who knows? You need your nappies. I work overnight at a radio station. Need your nappies. Priorities, baby.
Priorities.
You got some sleep for a day, and now you get to sleep on a floor for a weekend. The problem with Adepticon is the hotel rooms are going up in the prices. Really? They were the same for us this year.
Thank you for the sub, Orc Pride. 79 months.
Oh my gosh.
Wowzers.
Orc Pride,
79
absolute
months is
maniac, hero mode, 79
crazy.
months.
That's like from the beginning.
Like, Orc, that's nearly 80 months.
Wow.
I don't know if you realize, that's approaching 7 years. 7 years.
It's funny. I've been
I sleep on floors pretty well for a guy that capitalizes email names. You win. Argument over, you win. You stayed off site at an Airbnb, which was fine. You know, the Airbnb thing we've done a couple times at Adepticon, it's just never the same experience. You need to be at the hotel, and I know that sucks for people that didn't get a hotel room, but even getting a hotel room at the one across the street or something like that
It's
is
not the
better.
same.
You just want to be able to feel like you can stay at the Adepticon hotel for as long as you want to.
Yeah.
And that includes like 2 a.m., 4 a.m., whatever.
It makes it feel a little bit easier to go to the different game, like play games late at night, or go to those different the classes and not have to walk, across the street to your hotel. You're just there.
Or
It's
take
nice.
an Uber.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
going to say,
take an
Evan,
Uber.
some people just sleep in the lobby. That happens. I found people on the side in a corner in one of the game rooms. Just passed out.
That's crazy.
Waking up in the morning all disheveled, put a hat on,
If I
go to
woke up,
Starbucks upstairs and call it a day.
if I woke up in the corner of one of those rooms, I would be terrified.
You'd be terrified.
I don't know
what
why,
happened to
it
me.
would just
I got
feel-
roofied.
Yeah.
I got roofied. That was a Twin ECU game walking hard. Oh, I ain't trying to do it. We got our rooms. I think that one, and I shouldn't say this, but like the vendor block opens first, and with the amount of vendors, that's probably where all the rooms go. So that's why they need a bigger facility, because they're growing the amount of people in both ends of the spectrum. More vendors, more attendees.
Yeah. Oh.
Not enough rooms.
Yeah.
Even on the vendor rooms this year, they said they couldn't guarantee bed arrangements.
Really?
What?
Yeah, the rooms that the vendors had to choose from had no bed layout. You just got a standard room. They didn't say what it was.
So,
What the
you could be
heck?
walking into a room thinking you got two queens and it's just a single queen.
I wrote on there what we have to have, so I
That's
don't know.
funny. That's absurd.
Adepticon is a very busy place.
Nova just moved to a new facility this year, and now it's no longer in Northern Virginia. I mean, DC's still technically Northern Virginia-ish.
Pretty much.
It's not September yet, Panic.
Last time we checked, it's August 28th,
Night.
9th.
9th. One big bed fits many spoons. Not lying. Oh, it's only in Maryland now? Adepticon is interesting, both big for the style of convention it is and small for conventions in general, Haven, right? It's funny, yeah, because as it's taught by the Constitution, DC can only ever be 10 miles square at its largest. Adepticon is a fairly sizable convention. We get a little disillusion, not the right word. What we have in the States is a little bit different, because you have things like San Diego Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con, that are huge, right? And that are nerd focused. Gamescom over in Europe. There's some big like E3. There's some of the PAXs are pretty big. So as nerds, you get used to those, but those don't really represent what we're doing. Gen Con is 70,000 people. Adepticon is only 10% of that size, but Adepticon is very focused niche, right? It's just tabletop war games. That's it. Whereas Gen Con is tons of stuff.
Oh my gosh. it was
Tons
crazy.
of stuff. Artist Alley and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Some of it feels like Comic-Con. It has so much going on. Card games alone are probably 60% of the convention.
Yeah.
So it's a different deal. So I think Adepticon, though, as a convention, is actually pretty big at 7,000-ish people.
That's I mean,
That's
think
a
about
big. It's a big con.
especially not run by like a huge company that has a lot of
Yeah. I mean, outside of like electronics and maybe.
video games.
Well, no, I'm talking about things that only have like one big one, like the automotive industry, electronics that have like one huge show a
Right.
year, like CES or
Oh,
the
sure,
Detroit
yeah.
Auto Show. Then I think outside of that, Adepticon is a pretty sizable show for being such a
Well,
niche industry.
How big is CES?
Huge.
Well, I mean,
I
but
don't
like,
know anymore, but it was always big.
I'd be curious to figure out for scale what it actually ends up being, because
know.
I wouldn't be surprised if it were
Plus 100,000.
Yeah, so I mean, it's in scale to like Gen Con, like that's not that much bigger. I mean, it's like almost double.
Well, it's not open to the
potentially.
public either. It's only
Right.
a trade show.
Yeah,
Right. So the conventions I think of are like, hey, it's the rock collectors, group, you know,
Which is never
or the
gonna be-
IPMS, and you go to the Plastic Modeler Society, and it feels like there's 100 people there. you
Yeah.
know? So there's conventions that we go to that are tiny. I think Gen Con, I think Adepticon's pretty big. Will we come to PAX Unplugged ever? Yeah, if we can work out something that makes sense.
That's the one that's in New York, right? PAX Unplugged.
I don't know where they do.
Oh, it's in Philly.
As I thought, do you work with them? We've talked to the Penny Arcade people who don't own the show anymore, but we've talked to them about working with Penny Arcade and doing something and getting in league with the PAX guys and doing stuff, but so shows are difficult as a manufacturer because you either have to have it be solely a marketing gig where you go and do what we're doing at Nova. You sponsor events. We're sponsoring all of the paint rooms. We're sponsoring the Capital Palette, and we're just hanging out and having a good time, which is not as sustainable until you get to be much bigger. So for a lot of companies, you can't do that easily. And then the other side is that for us in Arizona, going like full on East Coast to take the whole booth and everything is rough because it takes a lot of capital to get there. And these shows like Gen Con are I mean, they hurt, because they charge drainage fees for bringing in all of your stuff like CES does because they're so huge. And because they have, not Wizards of the Coast, but they got like Asmodee taking up 40% of the show floor, So they have big entities, like big global industry there that pays that kind of money willingly. And so for small vendors like us, even though we have a 20-foot booth at Gen Con, which is tough to get, it costs a fortune to be there. And at the end of the day, you got to really be safe with that. You got to make sure that you're getting both good marketing and contact with your customer base and all that. That's really the reason we do it. We would rather sit around and talk to our customers all the time than anything. But when you have to sell, it makes it tough. So, and PAX Unplugged just doesn't hit the numbers, right? It's still small as far as like people that shop. Yeah, exactly. We know we would love to support them. It's just you're in that middle ground where it's like, how much can you risk on that show because you don't control where the show is starting to head. They want to do things. They have big ideas. We want to be involved. But is the PAX West has 70,000 people that don't care about tabletop games, though, Evan. Not what the show's about. Like, we're doing the paint and take at New York Comic Con, Evan. So we will be at New York Comic Con, Monument Hobbies at New York Comic Con. That's unheard of. And the paint and take area is a huge area. They've given us like 40 foot by 40 foot, right? For people to come and experience miniature painting. We think that's huge. And we'll see. We'll start learning, like, out of that crowd of a massive amount of people that come through New York Comic Con, what are we planning on seeing through? Because I don't remember how many people they said hit New York Comic Con. It's over 100,000.
Yeah,
it's like
a
120,000
ridiculous
people
amount.
or something like that.
Yeah.
It's absurd. I can't even imagine, And so we'll see. Our industry is getting, more and more known, right? So we'll see what happens.
Bigger and bigger every year. Scary bigger every year.
Cascaboom! Awesome, thank you. Make sure you take your MCP stuff, says Mo. We're working with a partner, and the convention, too, is going to give us some stuff that we're working with other people to paint. I know Catalyst Game Labs is supplying models, so we'll have some Battletech there to paint. We are trying to have some of our new cameo coins, I don't know what to call them, there to paint and give away. There'll be plenty to do, right? Plenty to do. That's October 13th, the weekend of Friday the 13th in October. So if you're around the East Coast area, you want to travel to Javits Center, we'll see you at New York Comic Con. They need a split-off convention like they did for LA Comic Con as a smaller alt for San Diego. PAX U is huge for shopping. Not according to the numbers they gave us. And when I say that, I'm just talking about for hobby stuff. Right. I'm not motivated to paint today. Is that bad?
No.
I'm not motivated to paint.
Are you motivated to comfy chair?
I think I'm motivated to comfy chair. So go single player over here. We'll put all the pressure on Paint J.
I can deal with it.
There we go.
I can deal with the pressure.
Can you?
No.
I guess I got. Do I need to turn the light on, Gabe?
Nah.
No.
Probably need to turn the TV on though.
I'm trying. Trying to get comfy first. I have priorities, man.
Comfy first.
When one sits upon the comfy throne.
Did you guys hear that?
What?
Jason just said that comfy was more important than seeing chat.
Oh
man.
You made it personal. You made it personal.
FuseCon. FuseCon
Horrible
2024.
human being, you. This TV's a disaster.
What did that TV ever do to you?
It takes 18 minutes to turn on
It's true.
because it's loaded up with, I don't know, Amazon Fire. I know why it was cheap now. It was on like Amazon, sale day or something.
Oh,
It was like a Prime Day thing. Yeah, like a Prime Day thing, right? Is it HDMI 1 or 2? Oh, it's 1. Okay, never
Yep.
mind.
Do you mean make chat bigger? Was that good?
What's that?
Do you need me to make the
I
chat
can. My
bigger?
old man eyes can read it, sorta, kinda.
Sorta, kinda.
Do you need me
Yeah,
to
I can read it.
All right. Last finishing touches now.
My bodies were too small. I don't want to paint now. Not lying. That was my plan today. Well, it wasn't really my plan today. I kind of finished so much of my Rhino yesterday, and I don't want to. I just primed a new model, but it's my Nova model, so I got to figure out something before tomorrow because I'm solo on stream tomorrow. I can't just comfy chair it. So.
I mean, could
Use a palooza.
use a palooza.
Yeah, we could full screen shares and just do chat, just chat time.
Tomorrow?
Yeah. Hey, you never know.
As soon as Jordan leaves, we just sit around and podcast.
Yeah.
We send
We
Jordan off
podcast
to
it up. Hey, I
upload
like this idea.
Nova, and we just sit around and talk about him the whole
Yeah.
time. But now that Jordan's gone,
I wonder what
Jordan,
you guys
we
realize.
actually-
I will be able to watch the stream while I'm on the flight, right?
no, you won't.
No.
One thing I guarantee you're not going to do is watch the stream while you're flying to Nova. You'll
That's
be playing-
probably
You will
true.
be playing Link, whatever that
Wow, how'd you
freaking
know?
Link game is.
Zelda?
Yeah, Zelda.
Oh.
Just chatting with a bathtub. We'll just put that as the stream thing, is just chatting hot tub.
Oh gosh.
We have a Mr. Turtle Pool.
No.
Gabe's like, no,
Please,
please,
no,
no.
it's not what I signed up for.
Okay.
Hot tub wet palette stream.
Yeah. Yeah, we just use the tub as the paint water.
Yeah.
We just have a floating palette, and you just dip your brush in the hot tub that we're sitting in. By the end, when everybody gets out of the hot tub, you just have a ring of paint color around the water line on your body.
That would be so bizarre.
We missed a question.
No.
I'll find it.
Why are you just letting us know now, Tim?
What?
Tim says you missed a question forever ago. I mean, you're not
Oh,
going to
okay.
scroll back and find it.
I'm gonna go a little bit just to see if I can find it, and if not,
If you're asking about shipping to the EU, just buy in the EU. We have retailers. Exclamation point FLGS in chat will show you some of the European Union stores that we have, and then PK Pro is our EU distributor, and they have all of our stuff on their store. They have a shipment arriving now ish,
like now.
like literally now. So by the end of the week or beginning of next, they'll have all the new Signature Series sets and all that. It got hung up in customs a little bit, but
Gonna clean up the bottom side of this.
about how stuff is shipped to Europe in boxes.
Despon says knowing Baby J could be in chat tomorrow on his flight, but won't be, hurts more than Jason saying being comfy is more important than chat.
Oh.
So now you have to be it. Now that you've admitted to everybody that you could join the stream while on your flight, you have to.
No, because what we don't want is just the lazy hi chat, and then he doesn't talk anymore.
And then
He goes
gone.
back to playing Zelda. He's like, I was there the whole time. I don't know why you didn't see my chatting.
Ugh. All right.
He was asking if it was shipped via air or sea to EU about risk of freezing. Well, nothing is ever shipped by sea for consumer purchases unless you purchase something huge, right? Everything's air. All customer shipments are air. Even Slowboat UPS is air. They just sit in a warehouse for longer. Nobody ships anything on the boat, like parcel post kind of stuff. You would have to order a lot to have it go on a boat.
What if I ordered a boat?
But that doesn't mean anything because air freezes just as easily, probably more. It's like it's freezing up in the sky.
They use submarines.
Submarines, like drug smugglers. Well, you're not purchasing that kind of stuff from us. But no, if with regards to freezing, our stuff ships all over the world. Now, our stuff ships to our EU distributor by air as well. So we don't ship anything outbound by boat except to Australia. And that's not our choice, that's theirs. Our distributor in Australia has a forwarder here in the States that consolidates all of their stuff that they buy from all the manufacturers in the States. And then it all goes in consolidated shipments to Australia, container at a time. So that goes slow boat. That's why Australia is generally about, oh my God, 4 months behind on releases. Australia actually gets the product to their consolidator quicker than any of our other distributors because they're in LA. So we can put their order together and have it out to them in a couple of days, and it'll be in the LA warehouse for months. I'm not laughing at Australia, but that's funny. You could consider our paints drugs. Why, thank you. But we don't have to put them in submarines. It turns out the Coast Guard would also paint with Acryl.
Don't eat the paint.
We need that. We need to find somebody. Okay, chat, here's your new mission. I need someone in chat who has a relative that's in the Coast Guard. I know you exist. I need you to take a fun video with your Coast Guard relative or friend of them holding up a Pro Acryl bottle next to a Coast Guard ship. I know this breaks a lot of rules, probably, right? And then you need to send me said picture or video, and we will turn it into a monument commercial talking about how we do not have to smuggle our paint because the Coast Guard also loves Pro Acryl. Right?
I don't know how that would fly.
It doesn't fly. It
it
floats, Gabe. It
Yeah, I
floats.
was gonna say, it floats pretty good.
All right.
Oh, Gabe, you set it up and I knocked it out of the park.
Oh, no.
Right out of the park, Gabe. That extra thick white is really tasty. I need you to step away from the paint, Evan. Please step away from the paint. The whole don't eat the paint thing has been a lot of fun. People really seem to dig the Paint Liquor 9000 commercial.
It's freaking hilarious.
I love it. I love it.
Hey,
I
it's
love
so
when
good.
Jacob spritzes me with the water.
I love it. It's just like,
Just add water, and it's like,
I bet he enjoyed that.
Mo's like, but
Jordan, what color do you use on the NMM? Is there jade in there?
No. There's not.
No.
There is, however, dark emerald
And
and green
so
oxide.
you were very close. Green oxide has become one of Baby J's
I
favorite,
like
most
it a lot.
favorite colors,
I
most
like it a lot.
favoritist colors. There's
A
a
lot
lot
of
of it
this-
on there, and it
yeah.
looks great.
A lot of this is green oxide mixed with stuff.
yeah.
Peanut butter and heavy white sandwiches. You people.
You people.
You people can't be trusted.
No, they cannot.
We're going to get a knock on our door one day, and it's going to be Health and Human Services,
We need to inspect the
the
premises.
health department. And they're like, so it has come to our attention that you may not have the proper licenses to operate in this jurisdiction. I'm like, what proper licenses? We make paint. We have it here that you have become a fine dining establishment.
It's like, that's not what
Well, that's
we do.
not true at all. We would like to taste a bottle of heavy titanium white.
Ostino, we have our commercials on our YouTube. There's if you go to our YouTube page, on the front page, the home page, you can scroll down to commercials, and you can see all the commercials we've made since the dawn of time.
Usually the latest, most up-to-date one is the one that auto-loads on the page? Question mark? I think so, yeah. If you go to YouTube, the current Paint Liquor commercial, usually our current commercial will load on the page and be the thing that plays automatically. I think it works both for returning subscribers and non-subscribers. We used to sell mahogany and growlers. A lot of people wished we did. Oh, dark plum is such a good color. Holy hell, man.
That's another color I use a lot.
Death Spawn, you're going to try to get your buddy to bring the line into his store. That's awesome.
Okay, it's Welcome to the House of Pro Acryl is the intro video, so we can adjust, we can update that.
Oh, that might be the case right now.
Yeah.
I think I left that as being kind of the
welcome,
the main one. I don't. Is the video on YouTube?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
It's just in the commercials section.
Yeah. So if
Okay,
you go into the
that's fine.
commercials section,
I probably did that on purpose. I don't remember why.
I think I uploaded it.
No, I didn't move it to the channel.
Video
on purpose.
Yeah.
It is on the Twitch channel though. Like if you ever come to the Twitch show when we're not on, it plays there too.
Yep.
Dark plum, beige red, and dark ivory as pallid flesh for your Modoc model. That sounds like a really good one. The beige red is amazing. Dark plum, also amazing. Dark ivory, would you guess? Amazing. I mean, does it? Okay, guys, I want you to look at your paints. Do they say Pro Acryl on the side of the bottle?
They're amazing.
They're amazing.
Then, amazing.
Also, don't eat them.
Amazing.
What colors would you not describe as amazing out of our line? I mean, I'm legally obligated to state that we only sell amazing colors.
It's true.
I have been asked on occasion which are the colors that I use the least.
You know,
and that's a real tough one. I think I always say sky blue is my least used color.
The funny thing is, like for any color that you could say for this, it would also be somebody's favorite color.
That's the thing, right? And I think it's just because when I paint blues, I tend to not. Well, I don't paint blues very much. I'm trying to think of the last time we did a pure blue, and it was the Guardian, and I used the hell out of sky blue on it. So I don't know. Go figure.
I tend to paint.
I don't paint a lot of just pure blue, I think is the biggest deal. And because I'm not painting like ultramarines or something like that, sky blue is not a color that works into a rotation for me because I prefer to use things like turquoise, bright jade, things that lean a little more green when I want that bluish hue as a tint.
Same.
But sky blue is wonderful for that. You know? But yeah, it's tough. You know, we have enviable. You should come sit in the comfy chair, babe. It should be comfy chair with Jason and Jen.
Yeah, comfy chair. I'll run this. We're good.
Sure.
I'm fine. These two leave tomorrow, so I'll
We'll
have so
yell
much
at him
time.
tomorrow when he hasn't done what he needed to do.
No, I don't want that to happen.
When he
Jordan-
hasn't done his job, we'll yell at him.
I'll have.
How
it'll
dare
be-
you produce the show, Gabe?
It'll be quiet.
How dare
It's
you
gonna be
produce the show? We needed
Turn
you
our
to
light
do
on.
your damn job, Gabe. Jabe, the son of Jason.
Jabe, son of Jason.
Jabe's dad's name is Jason.
I know.
It's true.
Oh, I did forget.
I've met him.
He came to the shop, and it was very jarring because he looked
Jabe
like the
and
kind of guy
Schlubby.
we would hang out with on
Yeah,
the weekends, which is
Totally.
that's how you know you're old.
Yeah.
He's a cool dude.
Well, he's also I'm telling you, he's also your dad. I think it would be a little weird that I hang out with you on game night, and then it's like you're like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? Going out with your dad?
When I go hang out with your
It'd
dad.
be a little weird. But hey, let Jason know
Oh, that
that
sounds
if
dope.
he ever wants to go hang out. Isn't he a preacher?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
He and I get along
He's
great.
also a master woodworker.
He and I would get along great, dude.
Yeah,
Literally, a
yeah.
carpenter works with his hands, and we could talk religion.
Yeah, he used to.
Nobody would want to be around us for the whole time, I don't think, but I would have a blast.
He used
I
to
would
work
probably
on
find that
motorcycles
conversation
too.
very interesting. I'm not gonna lie.
I get deep in religion. I really, really enjoy religious philosophical conversations with people of the cloth, so to speak, because they can teach you so much.
What
Even
did
if
you
you're
say
not a
about
religious person.
motorcycles?
What's that?
He didn't like. He used to have a couple project motorcycles he'd work on.
Works on motorcycles too.
Oh, look out.
Yeah.
Separated
People
at birth.
Gabe, I need you to get me in contact with your
Separated
dad.
from
ASAP.
birth.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
He chose the path of heaven, and I chose the path of hell. The movie in there someplace. Yeah, Walking Harder says I use sky blue all the time. It's a really nice bunch of bright, but yet saturated blue. Yeah, sky blue is a fantastic. That's what I said. Is we're kind of in the enviable position because we choose all of our colors. It's not like we're buying pre-made colors that we have to be okay with and say, oh, I think I can use that for this. No, we come up with our colors, and so when I come up with colors, let's be honest, as I look at it, I pass it around to people, and everybody's like, ooh. Or sometimes it doesn't fly. It's been very rare. I think there's only been maybe a half a dozen colors that we haven't ever come out with. And they always turn into something else anyway. It's just it needs a pinch.
Yeah,
more.
I would say that. I mean, like khaki is the weird one.
Khaki was tough.
Yeah.
It took a lot to come out with
Yeah.
khaki because
Like,
we
we
went through like
skipped it.
6 revisions and we skipped it and skipped it number in the
That's
set.
why
and the whole
it's
nine.
for all of you OCD people. That's why khaki is out of order
Yeah, it's way out of order.
because
It's like bottle 61 out of.
it's 61. It was
Yeah.
meant to be in the right spot, and we just couldn't get it.
It was
Yeah.
meant to be in the right spot.
I refused to release it, but we didn't put another paint in its place. We were like, no, we reserve this because that was the only way I was guaranteed going to make khaki work.
Yeah.
Is there's a hole in the line
Yeah.
where khaki should be, and that's why the flavor text on it is finally.
Yeah.
Finally khaki. A lot of people won't ever get that. They'll be like, what does that
Yeah.
mean?
No. Yeah.
That's fun.
But yeah,
Well,
we get to choose our own colors, so when people say what's your favorite color, all of them, but there are certain ones that don't make it into rotation as much. I use damn near all of the greens though. With believe it or not, I think yellow green and faded green are my 2 favorite greens. A lot of people would put jade in there.
I'm using yellow green right now.
The new dark emerald would fit in there. We're working on an emerald and a bright emerald. Those are going to be fantastic. So the greens I feel like are just heavy duty. Like I just love our greens, but out of them, I find myself reaching for faded green and yellow green because yellow green is just so great for all my non-metallic golds. Blues, dark blue, obviously. Dark gray blue is a fantastic color. The ultramarine paint that isn't available to normal humans is great.
Oh, you mean this one? Oh, no, it's not. Anymore.
Nah.
T-Schmid, enjoy your soccer practice. And I hope that painting in the car works well for you.
Painting in the car. Oh, while hopefully not moving.
Well, yeah, because he's waiting for his kids to play soccer.
Palms of face. How do you get and
Yeah.
keep such a great tip on your brush during a sesh, please? Looking forward to new lines hitting the UK. So Jordan, master of disaster, how do you keep such a fine, delicious point on your brush, my friend? Okay, without
delicious.
having to lick it. I might
But
add.
look,
Delicious.
but if you watch,
You did
like,
use that word though.
did he just put that in his mouth?
Nope. No, it looked like I did. I most definitely did not.
If you watch the tip of his paintbrush, when it touches the model, it's not moving. Like it's
Fairly
now
light
it's
touch.
covered up by,
Yeah, it's
by
like-
us, but it's like
Oh,
very
yeah,
he has
yeah,
a very
sorry.
light touch. And I think that probably helps a lot, right?
Yeah, I like barely touch the tip of the brush to the model. Most of the time, it's very, 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 very subtle.
T. Schmidt said, "Yes, indeed, not while moving."
Not while moving. I was like, I need video of this. Which is adding something else he has to do to the whole
Right,
mix of
yes,
things he's doing. Which
yes.
pretty much guarantees head-on collision. Don't die,
It's,
T. Schmidt. We love you. One of the issues we were having with khaki, we didn't like the color.
It wasn't quite khaki.
It would go to where it was too close to ivory. It would go to where it was too greenish. It was not what I wanted. Now khaki is a spectacular kind of greenish yellow, very desaturated greenish yellow that I think is perfect.
Right.
Is burnt orange not pumpkin-y, Zambies? It feels-
Burnt orange with
feels
a little bit
pretty
of olive
pumpkin-y.
flesh is right there.
I think. I'm
Payne's
done.
gray is your current fave. Oh yeah, it's amazing.
Sorry, what did you just say, Jordan?
I think I'm done.
No, impossible.
Done.
Impossible.
You took it off
Somebody
the
quick,
holder.
get a
That'd be
hammer.
done.
I'm taking it off the holder.
What?
Now I gotta find something to like scoop off all the stuff.
Get
What?
a hammer. Somebody.
What? It's called a seam scraper. What?
Yeah.
Be a
Yeah, I got one of
blowtorch.
those.
Mahogany umbers. Yeah. See, that's what he said. Like, for everything that you don't gravitate towards as a painter, you have somebody else that's their favorite color.
Despun, we didn't release them as triads, but there are definitely colors that have a dark, one that's not like indicated dark or light, and then a light, like the ivories and jades.
Yeah, the way I look at it personally is that when we have a color that is so popular, like jade, then I will look at doing a dark and a bright version. And that is based, I mean, really on sales numbers. Right?
Well, yeah, and it's or the practical, like the grays.
The grays were premeditated.
Yeah, that was pretty intentional.
Because you wind up, if it's something that you mix all the time as a
Right.
painter for tint, tone, and shade, then that makes sense for us to offer it up there, because we really are a line that believes in mixing colors. It is something that as a painter you really want to learn to do, because you're doing it on the model anyway. When you talk about smooth blends, what you're really doing is mixing colors. You're just doing it in a different way. And so, we want to have colors that really kind of lead you down the path of wanting to mix more. That doesn't preclude us having triads, where we do a dark, a mid-tone, and a bright version of the color. The
Jordan, that was
grays,
so satisfying to watch.
I'm gonna be honest. It was really satisfying to do.
Fantastic.
I was going to say, that was good content right
Yeah,
there, baby.
yeah, that was
Good
great.
content, right? I was watching it as I was
Nice
trying to
and
remember what
smooth.
words I was trying to say.
I was gonna say, man, I found a great new use for the seam scraper. Never would have thought to use that, but it works spectacularly well.
Nutrimentra, who are you talking to? Don't
Boom.
overload the brush and keep paint out
Oh,
of the
that
ferrule.
was related to the question about how to
Oh,
keep
the tip.
point. Yeah,
Yeah, to keep the tip nice and
because
sharp.
then he also says wash and condition.
Yeah, keeping your
Which is
brush
another
washed and
good tip.
cleaned is good practice to have, regardless if you're painting with sables or synthetics. Just always good to do. Pulling it to a point as you load it with paint, as you wick paint away from it, whether you use your thumb palette or paper towel or whatever you do in your process.
Can we give Jordan a round of applause, just very quickly? Just a good round of applause.
Why?
He's done. Why?
Why?
I'm giving Jason's round of applause too.
Great.
I don't understand.
Thanks,
So
John.
good.
You're welcome.
I don't understand.
All right.
Because he got the sticky stuff off the base?
Yes.
No, because I finished the model.
He's done. Yay.
Okay, what's next?
See? He's never finished. He's got to paint more.
All right, Jason.
You got to prep a model for Nova.
What's the journeyman model I'm picking?
Oh, God. Chat, you get to pick Jordan's model for Nova. What's he painting at Nova? I don't even know what they
Doing
are.
Journeyman?
I'm gonna look.
Is that the-
Yeah, because I don't know.
Is that what the
Yeah, we're
consensus
doing
is?
Journeyman.
Master Sulfur and the Troll.
Ooh,
You know what's really funny? I love that model.
That's what you're painting.
that's a cool bottle.
Sorry, chat, you don't have an opinion.
Well, I just now got the page open.
All right, I'll put the page.
Let's see what chat thinks.
You know what's funny?
We
I
already
actually
painted the
own that model.
Morgan.
You own that model?
I own that model.
Well,
I
there you
have it
go.
at
Paint your own man model then.
Titan.
I'd have to go get it from home.
Oh, he did. He has a
Oh, the
Warlord.
Master Sulfur and the Red Troll is actually really cool.
Yeah, he has a Warhound Titan he has
Yeah.
to paint.
Do that one.
Yeah.
Oh God, I don't want to clean that and no. We're not doing that at Nova.
What? What?
Let me get like resin dust all over myself. It's gonna be a nightmare.
I just want to see you transport it back and forth. That was a good sigh. Titan and Plaid or Riot.
Okay, cool. I can see this now. All right, Journeyman Miniatures.
No, I'm pulling it up on his screen.
We have.
Couches can't see it.
So we're not going to do Death Knight. I'm certainly not going to paint a Morgan because I have to do a big one for my grandmother this year.
I'll put it over here.
I don't understand.
No, I think you should do that Master Sulfur and Red Troll one. That's really cool.
The Garmer is really cool too. Garmister? Garmister?
Armor.
Garmer.
Garmister.
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 Yeah, all of the wolves are great.
Yeah.
I think Master Sulfur.
The Aline is really
Aline.
cool. So I love
Aline
that
is good.
model.
You could do a sci-fi. You just did fantasy.
Yeah.
Jump over to some sci-fi goodness.
What's the word?
Oh God, Gabe's opening up a whole new can of worms. He's not allowed to paint a Mindworks model. He just did one.
They're
Yeah.
so cool.
In before Jason's like, you know what? You are allowed to do another one, but it has to be Solomon Loss. Time to go back in scale jail.
Source has a question too.
I think you
for
should
once
paint this
you've
one.
Discussed all this.
How to make sure I don't get brush streaks when painting with the metallic colors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Explain to me what you mean by brush streaks. Are you seeing brush streaks in dried paint? Then you need to have more moisture on your brush. That's true of all acrylics. A lot of people are afraid to treat metallic paints just like normal paints. That's all they are. They have more solids in them though because of the actual metal flake, so you have to be careful because they can build up texture. So you just need to keep a little bit more water on your brush. Don't be afraid to thin them down a bit. They still have really good coverage. That's actually a really cool way to do your metallics is if you're doing, say, gold, lay down a dark camo green base and then do the gold almost like a glaze over the top of the dark camo green. The metallics work really well that way. But you can just use them straight out of the pot too. You just need to be careful and make sure your brush has moisture on it so that it doesn't cause all that texture.
All right. So we're doing Master Sulfur and the
Master
Red Troll?
Sulfur and the Troll. Sounds like it.
All right.
Yep.
So I have mine at home. We have some here. The only problem is,
You're not at home.
well, mine is also in the old packaging, so it's in bigger packaging. So I couldn't just swap it out. Should I just grab one then? Oh well.
Well, grab one and then just don't tear the box up. And we'll figure it out.
Swap it out. Okay. I will be right back, chat.
I can go get it.
Never mind. I will stay right here.
Do you know what my least favorite
Do
color
weird
is?
dance things that Jason will hate on the screen.
No dancing.
My least favorite color is our glaze and wash medium
Wait, did you say that's your least favorite color?
because it's colorless.
Get out of here!
It's
It's
colorless.
amazing. You don't even say bad and glaze and wash medium
It's
in the
not
same
a color.
sentence.
That's why I said it. It's not a color.
Doesn't matter.
It's not a color.
Those do not belong in the same sentence.
It is one of the best products we have, but it is not a color.
All right, well, let's talk about how we're painting this guy then. Because he's pretty neat. He's a big troll with a little goblin guy on top with a book. And
Master Surfer. Teach me
Yes,
Master Surfer. You're such a
paint
great
it.
model.
Paint it like a surfer dude,
No.
like he's on the beach. Master Sulfur on the beach.
These Zambies, exactly. If it's not a color, then it can't be your least favorite color. Gabe just gets it wrong sometimes.
Sorry, guys.
He just gets it wrong. Zambi's got
yeah,
it right,
thanks,
though.
thanks, Zambies.
Hey, Zambies, you
Fine.
want to produce a stream?
Whoa, whoa.
Are you
Gabe,
good at-
Gabe, you're fired.
See,
Zambies
well,
is hired.
To be fair,
You're
I
fine
don't
with
always
graphics and
produce a
design?
stream.
Are you good at graphics and design?
Okay.
She makes better cookies, I've heard.
Well, then maybe we need to have a bake-off.
Oh, we've just started an argument between Zambies and Gabe to where they're going to settle it with a bake-off, and we get to be the judges.
Oh, I'll be the judge for that. For sure.
Yeah. Yep.
Are we missing any cute pieces in here?
Hey, Baby J,
Yeah.
can you kick the camera?
Yes. Just a
not,
touch?
Not that side, the other side.
Yeah.
Yep, that side.
I know. Yeah. Yeah.
A little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Boom, done. Thank you, sir.
Mhm.
Now you can see more of Jen.
We don't have lights.
Hughes has been pronouncing Gabe wrong all stream. It's Jabe. Sorry.
Gabe.
Maybe that's my least favorite color is jade because it's taken my name.
Jade?
Jade.
Jade.
It's
Jade.
taken
We
all
need
the...
to name a color Jabe.
That would be great. If you just get me one bottle of jade, but the label is Jabe,
Jabe.
that'd be
I
great.
mean, I can do that with a Sharpie.
It's not the same.
Hey.
It's
Hey, wait.
better.
Hey,
I'm the
Gabe.
one who orders
Hey,
our
Gabe.
labels.
Hey,
I can
Gabe,
just
you
do
want me to blow your mind live on stream?
Yeah.
You make the labels.
I know. That's what I was like, wait a minute. I can make this happen.
Guess who makes
Yeah.
the labels, chat?
Guess who?
Jabe.
For the month
So
of
we should,
October,
you know what we should
all of our
do for
jade
like
bottles.
a series of paints is we should just give Gabe the ability to name all the colors for
Oh
a
my
week,
gosh.
and then like get some labels made, and we just do like an April 1st, like here's Gabe's favorite color set,
It's
and
not.
have him name all his colors.
It's not a wizard's butt color. It's a wizard's butt set,
It's the Wizard's butt set.
and it's a bunch of our colors named weird.
Holy Jabe.
Wait, is Jabe the wizard?
Could be Jabe the wizard.
Ooh.
Is Jabe the wizard?
Jabe
Yeah.
is the wizard from whence the butt
Some
name
whence
comes.
yes, exactly.
From whence the
That was a
butt
lot of words
name
and
comes.
it's strung together in a weird way.
McRib
I don't
red.
think Ski has visited yet. No.
Nope.
Not when I've been here, at least.
The Monument Employee Signature Series. The
Baby
first person who
pig.
gets one is Maddie number 2.
Maddie number
'Cause I bet
2.
she's never painted.
Yeah.
But she caps thousands upon thousands of your
She
paints.
touches your paint.
Yep.
She's
All your paint.
one of the hands that touches all the paints you buy. Doesn't paint. We got to give Jacob a signature series
Yeah.
because Jacob's only way of picking things is by their cool name.
Yeah.
So that would be a total wizard's butt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty true.
Because he would have like skin of jaguar. You know, be jaguar. Lightning.
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 And it's like green.
Spellbound.
Hello.
Chalky
Hello.
milk paint. We can make a chalky milk paint. It's actually a wash.
This sounds like well, you've been eaten by the comfy chairs. Man, they are comfy chairs.
Have you gotten your speaking of comfy chairs, have you gotten your beanbag yet?
I don't think it's. Is it gonna happen? I don't think it's so.
So, I was thinking about it,
Oh,
and I reached a problem that I think Gabe had a solution for, because he was talking about something he has at his house that lets him have like keyboard and mouse
Oh, yeah.
at his sitting position.
Yep.
I started
Oh,
thinking
his
about it. I really want
rear
to
lap
have the
thing?
dog be able to come in with me in the office. 'Cause I always feel very bad when Jen has her shows and we sit in there and eat dinner and the dog, puts all 60 pounds of her weight up against me and presses me into mush. And then I get done and I'm kind of tired of it. And so I get up and go to my office and sit on my computer. But I always feel bad because the dog will come in there and she'll give me sad eyes and she'll lay down on the carpet. Or most of the time what she does, she comes in and she woofs at me.
Yeah.
And then she goes and runs back into the
usually-
I turn around and go, why are you woofing at me? And she runs back into the living room and gets on the couch
The couch
and stares at my
master.
door.
Yeah.
Right. And then I walk out and she's like wagging her tail because she wants couch time. But if I could get something where I could sit in the beanbag chair and have her with me, the problem is I could never have something
You
like
wouldn't-
that, Gabe.
No, because you can't even be on your phone
No.
sitting on the couch with her. She
No.
pushes her head in them.
This is what I have, the couch master.
That is kind of amazing. Not gonna lie.
I know, and there's so many USB ports on the back. Look at all that stuff just goes in there. Great.
Why does it not surprise me that you have one of these?
So is it wireless?
No, it's one cord.
Oh,
It's one single 40-foot cable.
that would
Not
be the
one,
end
but-
of whatever was going on. Or would get wrapped up in it,
Mhm.
destroy it.
I have it.
No, but that was
it's-
always my whole thought process. Is I could probably figure this out, but then it defeats the purpose of having the comfy chair in my office because I want it to be big enough to be like a chair and a half, so the dog can come sit with me. Because a lot of times I just sit there and watch YouTube videos, and a bunch of if I'm watching Noida videos, they could be 6 hours long.
Oh my gosh.
Like
What if
Dunk's,
you got-
Dunk's videos are literally like 4 to 6 hours long. It's
What-
like his whole stream. And you know what?
Sounds like you need
You know
two.
how horribly I am enraptured with Noita?
You watch a whole
I
6-hour
do.
video?
I watch 6-hour videos.
Yes, I know. I live this. I get it every day.
I've never done that before. There is nobody that could put 6 hours of anything on YouTube and have me pay attention for most of it.
Did you pay attention to 6 hours of me on YouTube? Don't answer that.
Don't answer that.
What are you doing?
Shouldn't matter.
It shouldn't matter.
No.
If you're playing Noita, then yes.
No.
Jen playing Noita for 6 hours, I'm in.
Yeah.
No.
I
It
feel
sounds
like
like you just need two beanbags then. One for you, one for the dog. You know.
That's not how that works.
The dog would not.
You
No.
stumped me for a minute because I thought, why didn't I think of that? And then I'm like, oh yeah, because it's my
because
dog.
She has to be. If she's in the room with you, she's got to be touching you.
she's got to be touching
I feel like
you.
those
And
those
not like a
beanbags should be big
stretched
enough.
leg away from you
No,
touching
no.
you,
It's
like a
fully-
cat will do.
yeah.
No, she's literally like on you.
Those beanbags are big enough for two full people.
No, I get it, but you can't do anything.
That's true.
Because she's also not the type of dog that will just come and lay nicely.
No,
next
she's
to
not
you.
still.
If you're trying
Yeah.
to do something, she wants to help. Like the only time she really is still is if I'm just like sitting on the couch watching TV, she'll lay next to me and fall asleep.
Well, she gets so up in your face
Yeah.
too. Is like if you're on your phone, she leans in across your eyesight and stares at you.
She wants
Gives you side eye.
She wants you to be looking at her face.
Yeah.
Gives you side eye. My
Like,
dog does
She
that.
wants
just
eye contact.
Needs it.
Yeah.
She needs eye
Yeah.
contact.
That's funny.
It's
She's like, Dad, I'm Cora,
a bit much.
and I need you here in the moment with me.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
I'm gonna
right.
be honest. That's really cute,
It's cute,
but sounds
But-
like a huge pain in the butt.
but it's cute, but not every day.
You could get their Lovesac makes the couch. You could get 2 pieces of the couch because they're modular, and they feel like the beanbag chair.
I think you're missing the point, though.
You just wanted the beanbag.
Gabe,
Was it just the beanbag?
Gabe, I need you to settle down a minute. I need you to hear what we're saying.
Gabe's doing the Gabe thing.
It doesn't matter, Gabe,
Gabe's trying to
because
help you find a solution.
she's. Not, I will have a comfy chair and I can watch YouTube. She will not let me operate a mouse or
We
keyboard.
just need to, yes, I think everybody just needs to meet Cora.
I see.
So
it's,
now we're back
okay,
to
so it's-
FuseCon or
I
Gen
see.
Con.
I
Yeah.
see. So it's not a enough space for seating problem. It's a controlling the computer problem.
Yes.
It's a controlling the dog problem.
Controlling the
Yeah.
dog.
Because the dog will not allow you to do things you want to do while she is in your presence. You are doing what she wants you to do, which is she will bite your hand and put it on the part of her body she needs rubbed at the time.
I
Except
figured
she
it
can't
out.
ever make her mind up, so she basically just bites your hand and keeps replacing it all over her body. Until you just have got, you need to have 8 hands.
You could just casually buy Apple's new alternate reality headset, and you don't need a keyboard and mouse. You just use your eyes. And then you click on stuff with your eyes.
You know how I know this is a bad idea?
Because Gabe suggested
Because
it.
Gabe suggested it.
Wait, hold on. Hold on. I have great suggestions.
Do you?
My suggestions are fantastic.
They're very expensive, too, by the way. If you want to know, chat, why we can't have nice things, it's because
they're
Gabe
all
spent all the
expensive.
money.
It's because I have good suggestions. They're too good.
I have to walk through the
They're too
office
good.
at least once a week explaining to people why there will be no bonus checks this year. And it's because Gabe decided we needed something
We
new
needed the
at the
beanbag
office. We needed 18-foot long beanbag chairs.
I mean,
Yeah.
that would be pretty funny. Although, frankly, I
If
probably
we bought
wouldn't
love
take it.
sacks for everybody's chair,
That's
That
you
would
know
be
how
hilarious.
low production would be?
Nobody would work. We'd
Yeah,
be
we
sleeping.
did.
We make 5 bottles of paint a year. They're all $1 million.
No, there wouldn't even be more paint because
No.
everybody would be asleep in the beanbag chair, so there's no
That's
paint
true.
making happening.
No paint.
You make paint on your break.
What we
Yep.
do is
Like
we
you have to get out
order.
of your
Yeah,
beanbag
your break
chair.
is the opposite.
And,
Yeah, you gotta
and
get
make
out
some
of your
paint,
beanbag
and
chair.
then go back to sleep.
Yep.
Bonus checks? Nope, but here's more paint.
That's why, see, new business idea. We buy beanbag chairs for everybody who works here, but we only hire people who sleepwalk. And we train them to make paint in their sleep.
This sounds like a disaster.
So,
This sounds like a
Didn't
disaster.
we just have a conversation about bad ideas from Gabe?
Yes.
I feel like you're proving our point. You're over there just proving our point. Like the beanbag chairs are 18 feet, or there are 18 1-foot wide beanbag chairs.
probably
I think
18
I would
feet.
The point of
prefer-
this is that we have not gotten.
Boy, that's a
beanbag
good
chair
question, right? Because if you have 18-foot long beanbags,
yet. That's doing nothing for you.
well,
It's tiny.
it depends on if you can like Velcro them together to get a bigger.
Yeah, now you're getting into all these technicalities, and we don't have that. We have.
But then
But if you have an
Velcro
18-foot
separates.
beanbag, you have to
18
move
1
it.
Mm.
Yeah, neither one is a good option.
What about
Mm.
3 6-foot beanbags? You could cut it in different,
Damn you and your
different
logic.
sections.
Sounds like a quick way to get the U.S. government knocking on your door. Wait a minute. How did this get from there to here? Your lazy boy is bigger than those comfy chairs? Maybe
Oh,
bigger
wow.
than these comfy chairs?
They're like chair and a half,
Yeah, they're like chair and a half, maybe.
for sure. Both can.
These are very good purchases.
Yeah, I think so.
We got these so cheap on Craigslist that it's embarrassing. And the guy's house, if we could get Carter in here, Carter would tell you the same story. The guy's house was insane. He was this guy from Africa who I think his business is like just buying and reselling stuff. like high-end stuff that he finds from places that are going out of business or buying it, secondhand or
It's all
whatever.
about volume. That's why we got them so cheap.
Yeah, my God. But these were the chairs he was using in his living room. He was changing out on his furniture. Yeah, he was changing out to this horrible, like Miami Vice looking stuff.
Now your house. You benefited from that change.
Those houses were huge, too. My God, that guy's house was enormous. Ceilings were like 12 foot.
Yeah, but you gotta live way out.
Yeah, you gotta live in the boonies.
to be able
Because
to
he did live
afford
in the
that kind of
boonies.
house.
It was way out in the middle of nowhere. That was such a mistake that turned out to be such a good deal because when I looked at the map, it looked like it was right down the street.
I'll take my average size home in the middle of town.
It
where I'm
looked-
close to everything.
Yeah, but it looked like because our office is near Indian School. If you know anything about Phoenix, Google it. It's Indian School and 3rd Street, Monument Hobbies. And so I got on Craigslist. I found these chairs. I was like, winter chicken dinner. Need those chairs. If they work and they're not a scam, purchased.
I do remember you actually thinking that it might be a scam, and you were talking to me about this.
Oh yeah, I was like, this can't be true. $300
I mean,
for
I would
these?
say probably 50% of stuff on Craigslist is a scam. So I think you're,
True. True.
Well,
That
this
we're
is just
too
from
far off.
this is just from a private seller. I have 2 of these. They're in perfect condition, motorized recliners, brown leather, $300 each. Come get them. And I'm like, okay, either somebody is having a really horrible divorce, right, or this is a scam. And then I look at the map, and it's like between Indian School and Camelback. And I'm
We've
thinking to
had this
myself, now it
conversation.
has to be a scam because that's too good to be true because my brain only works in about a 3-mile radius of where I'm at any given time. And so
And Jason forgets that these streets in this part of town go
forever.
for like
I think
50
Indian School,
miles in both directions.
Indian School stops 15 feet short of the California border.
Yeah,
Is it
and-
really?
Yeah,
Oh my
something like
God.
that. No, but it seems like it.
It's far.
but it does go all the way out into
Yeah.
Mesa.
Phoenix
These
is a
were-
far
giant grid.
east Mesa.
These were worth the hour drive. It took us an hour and
They were-
45 minutes to go get them and come back
Oh my
to the
goodness.
office. They were way out west.
Like 200th Street?
I don't know.
Avenue.
Avenue.
Yeah.
Like Avenue 340. It
east.
was on the
Oh,
other
yeah, it was
side.
in the
Street is
300.
east, so
it was
west.
Like,
It was on the other side of the 101
like
loop.
Goodyear. Wasn't it Goodyear?
Gabe. Maybe.
Surprise.
It was like surprise then,
I don't know.
somewhere in there.
50
Far
million
west.
miles away. That kind of deal just doesn't happen, right? I figured they would all break or fall apart, but no, they're heavy duty too.
Got a rich guy trying to get new furniture. He didn't care. He just needed them gone.
Yeah, he was literally like, he's like, I have all this
Or
new
there's
furniture.
stuff like illegal stuff buried in them that we just don't know about yet. He was trying to unload things without getting caught.
Well, then why aren't we selling the illegal stuff and making lots of money?
Well, you gotta cut up the chairs to find out.
I'm not cutting these
Yeah.
chairs up.
That's how they get away with it. Nobody
be
wants to cut the
filled-
chairs up.
These could be this fluff could be cocaine. We don't know.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh. Like, that's not something you want to talk
I am
about
not,
on
I am
Twitch.
not cutting the chairs up to find out. These are really good chairs. Vez says, what sort of glue was that? Just CA glue? Yeah.
Yeah.
Our ProFix.
It's Profix.
Super glue.
Ba-ba-da-ba.
Don't look. If you don't know it's there, you can't get in trouble
True.
when the feds do find it.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm going with.
This is plausible deniability. So you're telling, to shine a light on your face and say, so you're telling us you didn't know your chairs were loaded with cocaine?
I have no-
We
And
just
you-
bought
and you're
them
gonna
from
stand
somebody on
behind
We
that?
Craigslist.
joked about it.
Do you think we were born yesterday?
You look far too old to.
Far too old to Thanks.
Gosu asked
Thanks.
when we're hiring the full-time lawyer to be on stream with us.
Why do we need a lawyer? Despon just told someone to calm down, and I'm hoping it wasn't me.
What happened?
He said, dude, an hour drive ain't nothing. I used to drive 2 hours to work and back. I'll drive 4 hours to hug a friend. Calm down.
You'll drive 4
I don't
hours
think
to
anyone
hug
complained
a friend?
about driving an hour. In fact, he was saying that the hour was worth it.
Oh, it's
to get the
definitely worth
chairs.
it.
Yeah.
In like midday Phoenix traffic to drive an hour each way was no big deal for these chairs.
Considering how cheap you got them for, yes.
And yeah, I used to commute 2 hours each way to work. I'm with you.
Ugh,
It
I
sucks.
I could not do that.
I don't do it anymore, and I like my life a lot better now.
Is it?
Oh,
Aw,
Jacob.
Jacob's
Sorry.
like, aw.
I gotta go check the doors.
Okay.
Thanks, you're now
Gotta go lock up.
I feel like my chair's gonna get stolen.
Yeah, Jason looks a lot different
Jacob's
now.
like, I'm the painter now.
That's literally what I just said.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
That is exactly what he just said.
Jason's deaf, you guys.
Oh, is this the?
I'm slowly learning.
I forgot his name.
What?
Percival?
Percival Chevalier, fifth
No,
first
not
of his
the
name.
this demon guy.
Oh,
Demon guy?
the one you're painting.
Asmodai.
That's his name, cause he's from Diablo, isn't he?
Diablo,
Yes.
yeah.
I remember him from Heroes of the Storm.
That's who I'm painting at Nova.
Jordan, do you pin 3D printed models?
No.
There was Azrai says I was just gonna ask that. My models have limbs pop off if I just use glue.
Yeah.
Uh,
Just reglue them
yeah.
if it's resin.
Get a fresh bottle of glue. Maybe your glue's getting old.
You got old glue.
But Deathspawn 3D printed models are very brittle. Can you drill them? Some you can. The softer, more bendable 3D printed resin is sometimes able to be drilled and not shatter. But the problem that I've seen is there's a lot of inconsistency with how layer curing goes in 3D printing sometimes. That's largely dependent on your printer and the resin and the temperatures and all sorts of variables. But you can wind up drilling down and it goes fine for like 1/8 of an inch and you're okay. But if you drill any further, it shatters the model. You know? So you just gotta be careful.
Oh, that'd be so
But
sad.
you can. I mean, it's resin. You should technically be able to drill it and pin it. It's just some of that 3D printed resin doesn't tool very well.
Yeah.
You know, you scrape it and it leaves gouges. It doesn't clean up very well. You got to be very careful with it.
It's better safe than sorry usually.
Yeah, everybody's saying the same thing. It really depends, and it does. And I've had it to where we use the same resin constantly in our stuff here. We use the Epax Hard Gray, and it would even have one model it would work fine, and the next one would shatter if you tried to drill it.
How was your day?
My day?
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Finished up Let's Play our Australian distributor's order. So it's nice.
So they'll get it in 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's
Feels like
such a
it.
shame, dude. I feel so bad because it's like we could airship it to Australia and they'd get it in like 3 days. But it's just not how their business is set up down there.
Seam scraper.
Vez, you drill yours all the time, but you own your mix. Yeah, like I said, the more flexible stuff that's been, meant to be bendy, the stuff they're now calling like miniature, grade stuff, seems to drill better.
Yeah, the technology that they've, well, this resin technology, I should say, has come a long way in the last couple of years. That's a nice tight seam. End up good.
I think the bigger issue is, do you have to pin resin? And I would always say the answer is no, unless it's a weight issue. Like there's just something you're trying to pin because it's heavy on one end. Because generally it's not necessary. Sometimes you might have like a very thin piece that the surface to glue it together, like an antenna on a head or something like that. The joining surface is so small that you feel like you wish you could pin it, but in those cases where you really need a pin, you can't put a pin in resin. Most times you don't need it. It really comes down to it just being too weighty. Sometimes a model might be, like imagine if you had the Hulk and he was like, bent over at the waist, but having to carry all of the resin of the upper body and arms and everything. Maybe he's got a car above his head, and that whole model's having to carry the weight at a 45-degree angle on the hips. And so you might want to pin the waist just so that doesn't get knocked around. But I'm very rare that I pin resin. Something like the head of his hammer here might be a good spot to do it,
Yeah.
because you have a bulky weight at the end of a thin connection point. But even that's probably fine with just glue.
Yeah. It's a pretty solid piece. Or it's a pretty solid, connection.
You can't wait until you can get really high quality non-toxic resin for 3D printing at regular price. what are you talking about high quality? I'm of the and here's the deal. Science can always outpace you, but from what I understand about the resin polymers is that you're going to have a real hard time getting a super high quality resin for 3D printing for long-term usage with current technology and UV curing. Right? The old like laser, SLA stuff is a lot better, but it is still very costly. The DLP stuff I'm interested in. Has anybody used any of the DLP printers? Any cubic ABS yeah.
We got Jen back. Welcome back,
The
Jen.
consistency of our glue.
Yeah, DLP is nice but slow. That's what I've heard.
Our glue is like super glue, but a little bit runnier. Not goopy.
Yeah. The tip of the whatchamacallit, the bottle is like super nice.
That happened.
Yep. It is super nice in that you have a lot of control over where the glue goes, which is great.
It's not, like you get the standard super glue from what I think about as super glue is very liquidy.
Yeah.
And then you have super glue gel. This is in between.
We're gonna make this.
Darth Mullen, quality of resin is going up as I research more. Yeah, but you have a ceiling for what your UV curing can do. Just from a chemical base, right? You need to be able to go beyond the UV issue. And they're having to flash all those layers with UV to get it to cure like that. And it causes a brittleness, right? You create a shear issue by building up those layers in that way. And there's just no way to get around that I can see. Now, I'm not a super mechanical genius, but it's always going to suffer the same problems when you have heat deflection. When you take the resin and you heat it via the sun or by other means, you're fatiguing it in ways that it just doesn't bounce back well either. So I don't know. I like it. I think it's a great technology.
Weasel says, "Oh look, big paint overlords lounging while employees do real work."
What's wrong with that?
He called us out and he's right.
He's right.
Yeah, he's definitely right. Definitely right. There's no way to even argue it, so I'm not going to bother. Hi, Squeezle. How are you?
When you started streaming 8 years ago, did you imagine yourself streaming on a nice comfy chair while painting was happening around you?
That's actually a
That was
good question.
Like your 10-year plan or anything like that?
Yeah. Part of the master plan.
I don't like to talk about my 10-year plan. It included a lot more death and destruction than we've achieved so far. So I feel like a failure, and I feel like I need to revise it, and I'll circle back around to this in a year or two.
Oh man, the pot has hands.
What?
I never realized that before.
The pot?
The pot.
It's not like the hands that are holding it. It's actually the pot.
Yeah, there are
its
literally
own
hands
hands?
for the pot that come out of here. And I just dropped it. Where'd it go?
Oh, like the claws of a pot?
Yeah, the pot has like claws.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's this
Like on the bottom. Yeah.
yeah, it like comes out of there. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Maybe it's here? Nope, it's definitely here.
I was thinking like, how like some like fancy pots or like bathtubs have like the claw feet.
Yes.
That's what I thought you were talking about. But you're like, these are legitimate
No, it legitimately has like
claw
yeah.
hands that come out
Yep.
and hold books and stuff.
Oh, that's okay. That's a hand for the pot.
Yeah.
Vez, yeah. And generally, what I've seen is that a lot of the specialist resins that are at that high use, high handling, and are also not capable of the same resolution, like the same layer height and such. I know they're making it better all the time, and it's a good technology. I think it just ultimately has an Achilles heel that will never take it to the level of injection molded polystyrene. It just won't. You know, somebody can prove me wrong, but there's just a flaw in the way that it is developed. It doesn't cure as a single piece. It always cures as a bunch of layers glued together. And just from a mechanical, structural side, that will never be as good as a piece that is cured entirely as one construct, right? It can't be mechanically. But for what we do in miniature, I think it's great. I'm always a little leery, right? Because it still fractures because of that. It doesn't break in a way that is easy to fix. It generally shatters, even the bendy stuff. So if there's one constant with miniatures, is that they break and have to be fixed. So. Your 10-year plan assumed I wouldn't be here, and that was the extent of the plan. So successful failure. Wad, you win. You've already winned the game.
You won did.
Exact says I only use 3D printed models. They're excellent nowadays. Yeah, definitely. I love them, and the resolution is only getting better and better and better, which is the nice thing, right? So you can get a tremendous amount of resolution. I think the big key is the layer height resolution is where the real focus has to be, and it's those ultra thin, quick cured layers that I think kind of work against the whole process ultimately. But like I said, you for miniature, those problems don't really arise unless you're throwing them against a wall a lot. Like I don't care about. I come from a world of mechanical engineering when in electronics you had to do everything in a 3-foot drop test, because if you were putting something in a box and shipping it to a store, it had to be able to survive falling off the shelf, right? And then people could still buy it and have it be functional. So the plastics and the internals and all that stuff. So you go through this long battery of tests once you have a design laid out. And so I think about it beyond just for miniatures, you know. And miniatures have to survive falling off the table. You know, and I can't count the amount of times that people with 3D printed miniatures have had one knocked off a table, and it's like, well, I'll print another one of those. And I'm like, well, that works great until you paint them. You know?
Oh, yeah.
You know, I think that 3D miniatures work great for having very quick prototypes. I think that I would have a very hard time investing in painting an entire 3D printed army, and yet I'm doing it with my Blood Angels. It's a little.
Because if you break one,
you're not
it's
fixing
done.
it.
Yeah.
You know,
you can't fix it.
you're not fixing
You
it.
have to reprint it.
They shatter when you put it back together. There's chunks of it missing. You know, little bitty, like when a glass breaks, you can't just glue it back together because you lost 50,000 pieces of it, right?
So like little
Yeah.
splintery.
Even the
pieces.
non-brittle ones still shatter like that. So. Rogue Hobbies threw one of her goblins against a wall and it held up. Well, sure. I mean, I can pick a model and throw it against the wall and have it hold up too. But as soon as you start having more weighty those models you don't care about, right?
Depends on the model.
I mean, it tends to be the big character models and stuff. Like if you throw Nagash across the room, Jacob, what happens to him?
He casts spells to stop.
He shattered. He cast 7 arcane bolts and doesn't care. Oh, I'm sorry. They nerfed that.
Oh.
Hey man,
Come
come on.
Hey man.
One day he'll be okay.
And you'll be very, very happy.
Yes.
To throw my rock gargant against the
You
wall.
think folks are using 3D prints to do some injection molding, casting, etc.? So that would probably be the peak of the tech. Well, Vez, that's how you get your master.
Yeah, that is how that works.
I mean, that's the process, right? You 3D print. If you're digitally sculpting, you have to create a 3D print as your master, but you have to spend quite a bit of time cleaning it, and then you make your mold around those masters, for sure, for both resin casting and injection molding. You might take the STL and not have to do the 3D print for injection molding because you can take the STL and work in the digital world for actually then CNCing the mold. You don't have to have a physical master. You just have to have the STL. And then it just works in the digital world to do all the cuts and the sprue makeup. And then all that's CNC'd. So there's not a requirement for a physical master in those cases. If you're doing Cyocast, then you still need a physical master. You still have to 3D print the masters because you're making a silicone mold, right? But for hips, for high impact polystyrene and PVC, you're able to do metal molds. That's why it's so expensive to do plastic sprues. It's because the mold making process costs an absolute fortune, right? Based on volume of plastics, it can be upwards of $10,000 a mold. And even higher. I'm just talking about the plastics world, like for miniatures. I think Mo, is Mo here?
Yeah.
Mo, haven't you dealt in injection molding for a long time? Do I have that right? Mo will tell you, like, if you're doing big injection molding, then molds can be hundreds of thousands of dollars for large parts, right? In our world, we don't think like that because the molds are small parts, right? But
Yeah, they injection mold all sorts of stuff.
yeah, because when you're injection molding plastics, it's under a lot higher pressure. Like when you're injection mold, like Cyocast is under very low pressure, and that's why they can do it in a silicone mold. The problem is you can't do as big a volume of stuff, which is what we're running up against as a problem with making some of the miniatures we want to make, is that we can't do them in Cyocast. Well, if we want to hold our design concepts the way they are, then we can't do Cyocast, because I don't want to do some of the models in Cyocast and some of the models in PVC or polystyrene or 3D printed, which are technologies that can do larger minis. We have to move everything to polystyrene. Well, then you're like, okay, well, who's going to rob that bank?
Yeah. That's a big bank you gotta rob. It's not cheap.
Dental resin is pretty hard, yeah. Yep.
You see Chris is about to throw a model, but he doesn't want to damage the wall.
Your rock gargant against the wall and test this theory. I don't want to damage the wall though. Yeah, but you literally wrapped like wet clay around your models.
No, he super glued rocks.
He
went
super
outside,
glued rocks from his yard
got
to his
rocks,
models.
and super glued them to
Were they from his
See
yard?
giants? Yeah, he took like rocks
I
and
think so.
super glued rocks to his
Either
plastic
his yard
models.
or it was a friend's yard with
Is
like
that-
slate.
I don't know what that means.
They look like bad Bigfoot costumes.
Oh.
Yeah. It's like if Jordan just went out front to grab some gravel and he
Now,
started
to his credit,
Put it on it.
to his credit, Chris was way more excited about the game than the hobby.
Yeah.
And so he got the models built and did what was actually a very cool thing, to have these rock skin gargants. Just the way that he did it, they look like bad Bigfoot suits,
I see.
you know. But now,
Was this a long time ago?
it was a long time ago.
Okay.
When he first got into the hobby. One
So,
of the
so
first things
before
did.
he knew us.
This was yesterday.
Before he knew us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, that was how we got introduced to him. Hi,
Oh.
this is Chris. Look at these models.
Look at
Yeah. No, we were. Me and Chris were still in. This game is so cool, but we don't know how to do this hobby thing properly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, Mo, that and correct me if I'm wrong, I think that the cost of tooling CNC time under the tool with multi-axis CNC has caused mold costs to go down dramatically, right? But still, just the material cost of the metal that you have to cut out a billet to get your mold done is still just extremely expensive. So
Well, a lot of it too is also the cost of like the engineering to get the mold. Somebody has to do all the CNC like setup, right?
that's not tough. Programming the CNC is easy because it's just the file.
Oh,
Right. I say that the maintenance is more than the running of the cut. But getting the file set up to do the sprue is a totally different cost too, right?
This model is gigantic.
It's a big boy.
Mo's like, yeah, but it's still more than this old boy can afford. Well, yeah. I mean, we can't afford the machines. They're insane.
The injection molding machines.
No, the injection molding machine is actually one of the least expensive parts. You could just get like a 10-ton press,
Oh, really?
right?
That's funny.
And a way to inject the plastic. It's like a fuel injection system. It's like a diesel fuel injection system. It's under high pressure. So you have to have good fittings to be able to pump. Obviously, you have to be able to heat the material and all that. But it's really just a fancy press. But that's the thing, yeah. Like the maintenance of it is all even bigger. Marco Frizzoni.
Marco,
What's
hello,
going on, Marco?
welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Chris wants to know what Jacob's working on.
I'm
And if
not
he's-
Being
working on it.
sexy and looking at his phone.
If he's trying to figure out how to collapse the power grid.
Did you turn off my power the other day? Was that you?
Yeah, it probably was.
Did you sneak up to the
Now
power
we
line somewhere around here
know.
and snip the power lines in half?
I did not do that.
Because
Marco
Our
and
power-
Raiders, welcome. Hello, welcome to the
Don't worry, I heard
Monument
about it. Oh, you
family.
The
You texted
crazy,
it, that's
Here,
craziness.
Jordan is prepping his Nova Open model. Jordan and I will be traveling to Nova Open this week in Washington, D.C. here in the States. We will be doing some
because
painting.
he's a spy.
We will be doing some
Somebody
painting.
likes us.
Mm-hmm. Finished my other model.
Gothic Army,
which
thank you
is
for the
great.
follow. So sitting around having a good time. Hope the stream went well. I dropped in on Marco. I threw some subs at him.
Nice.
Gothic Army, thank you for the follow. Big Bobzilla will see you on Saturday.
You gonna be at the show, Big Bob?
Somebody
Nice.
likes us.
Nice.
Come with clothes on. I'm not
Come
ready.
with clothes on.
I'm not ready for standard Big Bob.
This model's hilarious.
Hey, somebody likes
I
us.
love it.
Frenchie, everybody's finishing Nova entries. We're not entering. We're sponsoring the Capital Palette, so we're as Monument Hobbies, we're sponsoring all the prize giveaway. Well, the bulk of the prize giveaways. We're putting up cash prizes for the top two finishers and a bunch of prizes for all the category winners as well. But we just have a small table set up there, and we'll be painting. We'll be there painting live. I've got a model that I have put together that is a resin 3D printed model for that resin 3D printing talk we were doing of Asmodai from Diablo something or other. Just a cool model that I'll be painting, and Jordan is going to be doing Master Sulfur and the Troll from Journeyman Miniatures that he's building right now. And we'll have a lot of our other miniatures that we painted over the years there, and just hanging out. And I've got a bunch of unfinished stuff that I'll be touching up and showing people colors and things like that. So it should be a good time.
Jordan, is that a tiny cage?
Yes.
Marco, you are definitely welcome. Love
That's
you.
awesome.
Love your channel.
What's inside of it? Is this a little goblin?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So nice.
Is very small.
Little prisoner
I'm
in a
intrigued
cage.
on how you're gonna.
Yeah,
paint
Master
that.
Sulfur is great. We're the North American distributor for Journeyman Miniatures, so we sell them all on monumenthobbies.com as well as Mindworks.
Were there hands like on the bars?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like looking through? Oh my
Yeah, just
Yeah,
knuckles.
it's very
through the
cute.
thing.
But
But yeah, so we'll be there. If you happen to be at Nova Open this coming weekend, Jordan will be in on Wednesday, although probably not very available. And then we'll both be there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Just hanging out. Like it's a totally different show for us because we are not selling anything. There's no pressure.
yeah, it's gonna
You
be
can come
very
sit
weird.
with Jordan and I.
Nice.
We will be painting. We will have all of our Pro Acryl paints out there that you can come try. You can come see how we do stuff, ask us questions, tell us bad jokes,
See the go bag in real life.
bring us chocolate milk, you name it.
Oh yeah, chocolate milk. Yep.
It'll be a lot of fun. I'm planning to just knuckle down and paint and walk around and socialize.
That'd be a fun side category for the painting competition. Is who brings the best chocolate milk?
Best
Who brings
chocolate
chocolate milk? We can be
Who brings the
bribed.
Best
we
chocolate
can
milk?
we can be bribed.
Thank God we're not judges in the Capital Palette.
Yeah, I was about to say we're
because
not judging. So
It really would be whoever shows up with the best and largest quantity of chocolate milk wins. You'd be like, why did you pick this miniature? Because the chocolate milk was good.
I
That's
mean,
about
only-
as good a
only
reason
if
as
they
why
can
most
give you-
miniatures win in contests.
Here's the thing, though. It only works if they can give you the ability to either recreate it on your own so that you can enjoy the chocolate milk forever,
Hmm.
or buy it locally.
Mm.
What if it's like
Because
that
if they
they're
just give you
doing-
chocolate milk, and then you're never going to get that chocolate milk again, is that really worth that price?
Maybe depends on how good the chocolate milk is.
Yeah, but
I'm
you're
gonna
never
say,
gonna
I
get
mean,
it
there's
again.
an opening in my life where like the world's greatest chocolate milk could,
Could
if it was
happen.
life changing.
Right, but what if you would never be able to get it again?
I would always have that memory.
Oh wow.
They
That's
would
a
win every
memory
Nova
for
Open
you.
probably because I would be spending a year waiting for that chocolate milk. Again.
Chocolate milk and empanadas.
Pure enjoyment convention.
Oh
It really
my
is. We're very
empanadas.
excited to just go out. We're sponsoring all of the classrooms. So Pro Acryl in all the classrooms. They're setting all that stuff up starting today. I think they excuse you. Or bless you. Excuse you. Excuse you. That was rude of me.
Excuse you.
I think they were setting up one of the seminar rooms today. I think there was like a painting class today.
Oh my
Yeah, you were
gosh.
saying something
On a
about
On
that.
Tuesday. This is the longest show in the world. Always fun to just enjoy the pure social side of conventions. That's what I love the most. It's always fun to just have the booth and all the activity going around, especially if we're doing like, product releases and things like that. At Gen Con this year, of course, we released the latest signature sets with Ben Comets and Matt Seshwish. So that was a lot of fun. I think at LVO was LVO. Yeah, LVO was when we launched the
I think so,
Ninjon and
right?
Vince sets too. This has been the year of the signature set.
Yep.
That's crazy. That it's all been this year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't even working here, but I was around when you guys when we launched the Vincent and John sets,
Yes, because
And-
that's when Shelby started.
and it
January 6th.
Yeah.
felt I could feel the craziness of like just there's so much going on.
Oh, that was
It's-
a crazy time.
Yeah,
Crazy time. That was the time when they would get one order boxed up for shipping, and in the time it took them to do that, 10 more would come in.
Yeah,
Oh
we
my
were
gosh.
one step forward,
Yeah,
10 steps
it
back.
was
Ugh.
crazy.
It was nuts. It was absolutely nuts.
crazy.
The whole thing when we launched. The
And
Marco,
Ty-
you're going to
Tyco,
be at
thank you for
Adepticon.
that
That'll be
follow.
great. We'll see you at LVO and Adepticon. We do both. We'll have to get some sit down time, Marco. We'd love to meet you.
Jade, I used to get Jason the dark chocolate almond milk, and he enjoyed that quite a bit. But
It's okay.
we stopped. Yeah, I think you kind of over.
It's got to be
Did
dark
it, maybe.
chocolate. though.
The almond milk is something that you have to take in small bits because
Yeah.
it's just too something. It's too oily
Yeah.
or something. It's not.
Maybe,
It's not
yeah.
great for you long term. Big Bob
oh,
Zilla says I'm actually now going to stop by a local farm and get some chocolate milk for y'all.
It's right from the farm. Do they have the chocolate milk cows there?
And you didn't enter.
That's
You
pretty
didn't even
crazy.
enter anything. Well,
That
you'll
is
win anyway.
crazy.
I'll just pick you as winner. And people go, "Where's his miniature? We want to see it." Oh, he didn't pay anything. But the chocolate milk was damn good. Damn good. Booth management is so much work. You
Oh
know, with
my
our
gosh.
team, it's just that conventions are just a lot.
They're
right?
just a lot. It's not. I mean, it's fun. It's super fun, but it is. They're busy nonstop.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I can't think of a lot of times where I was able to like sit for more than a minute here and there and just be like, okay, off my feet. Oh, hey, there's another person. What's up? How's it going?
yeah. I think when we were at Gen Con, it was we sat for maybe 2-3 minutes at a time, maybe
If that.
a handful of times. But it was fun. It
Okay.
was fun meeting a bunch of people and just talking paint.
Okay, Squeezle is my kind of people because Squeezle says you have to shake the cows to keep the chocolate in suspension.
Oh my gosh.
This is Squeezle. You and I would have fantastic conversations because most people would miss the fact that chocolate milk is not a solution; it is a suspension. You know what else is a suspension? Acrylic paint.
Yeah. Bob, is Bush 43 is W, right? Yeah. Right? Yeah. He came to my school.
W.
I met him. Have a picture with him.
Got a picture with him.
Bye, Jacob.
Goodbye.
Hi, Jacob.
Have a
I'll
wonderful
see you in a
evening,
long
Jacob.
time.
Hello.
Say goodbye to all the
Margaritas are
fine
also a
people in chat.
suspension.
If the power
Bye.
goes out
Bye.
in the next 10 minutes,
Yeah, we know
you know
it's-
who
we
it
know
Jacob
is.
Jacob said he had delicious wings that treated him poorly last night. so
Uh-oh.
everybody wish Jacob the best.
Well,
Oh,
Jacob,
man.
I'm glad that you made it today and you stuck it out the whole
I
You
hope you
sort
I hope you have better poops tonight.
Stay away from the wings.
Bye, buddy. See you later.
I hope you have better poops.
I hope you have better poops tonight.
Marco Frazzoni said running to bed, have an awesome stream and a bunch of fun. See you at the next one.
Awesome.
See you, Marco.
Thank you for the
take
Bye,
care.
raid.
Marco.
We'll catch up with you next stream. The worse the poops, the better the food. Not always the
No.
case.
Wrong.
There's
Those
the three.
Wrong.
right.
We have three categories.
3 categories.
Tastes
Bye,
good,
Jay.
Tastes good,
feels good,
feels
Bye,
good,
Jay.
Have a good night.
comes out good.
comes out good. It has to.
You got to get at least 2.
You have to get 2
You have to get
in
at
order
least
to
2.
qualify for a
Ideally
return
3.
visit.
All 3 is what you really want. But if you can get at least 2.
As a grown ass adult, you can choose to only have 2 and be okay with a return visit.
I mean,
You know.
yeah.
But I mean, you know, when you think about it, if it tastes good, but it grumbles in your stomach, and then you're okay with the outcome.
Yeah, then that's okay.
But some people might not like that part.
Oh,
Some
that's
people
true.
might be willing to sacrifice a few extra minutes on the toilet because everything else was great.
Okay.
You know, I do not understand the thought process of it tasted horrible, but it didn't kill me, so I'm doing it again.
Yeah, that's
That one-
no.
that
sounds
the
like
one.
a Jacob
That's the
thing.
number one.
That's the one I'm like, I don't understand you people.
This
Like,
was terrible.
What in the world is haggis?
What in the world is haggis?
Man, this burrito sure
Poops
is
can also be
delicious.
suspension.
Poops can also be a suspension. We try to avoid that, Frenchie. Try to avoid that.
Shawarma.
Shawarma.
Jade, take it easy. You guys have a great time.
Jacob
Wait,
just
Chris-
passed my little nook here looking like he was going to war.
Christopher is here.
Yes.
Margaritas are a suspension.
Not a fan of the turlet sweats?
What?
Turlet?
The
like
toilet
like
sweats?
Turlet?
Turlet.
Yeah.
Turlet?
Oh my god, that's my favorite.
I think
thing
that's.
ever.
I
What,
think
the
that's
turlet
what-
sweats? And now we're going to get Jen walking around the house. I'm going to be like, what's wrong, babe? I got the turlet sweats.
Oh my
to the
gosh.
turlet.
I just want to hear her say that around the house.
You okay with it,
I was
Jen?
having a good day until I had
That
the
got
I
her.
don't
turlet
know
sweats.
why that struck me as so funny.
Turlet.
Someone broke Jen.
Yeah. Somebody
The
fix the
turlet.
turlet.
The turlet sweat. Jen's got the turlet sweats today.
Oh my god. But he said that if that's a thing, he taps out and doesn't go back.
I'm
So
with ya.
Even if it tasted really, really good,
Oh, man. That's like one of life's hardest decisions.
it's hard.
Because you'd be like, okay, maybe that was just once. So I think I'm okay.
You
do
got to
it
go
again.
back
You
for a
gotta
second.
go back.
You got to give
You
it a
gotta
second
go
chance.
back.
Okay, but
You
if
have
it
to.
happens
Big
again,
Bob, you have to go back
Yeah.
once. You have to be like, maybe it wasn't the food I ate there.
Yeah. Maybe it was
Because,
something else.
Like, I literally go through the logic and, like, the critical
Maybe I didn't
thinking
wash my
mode.
hands very well.
Well, no,
that
I go through
day.
the critical thinking mode, and I'm like, okay, well, when did I eat
Yeah.
breakfast? When did I eat the last time before that? What
Was
did
it
I
a
eat
different
those
meal?
times? Was I feeling okay before I went in, or maybe was it already starting? Because you're like, you know what? I don't like. That's my problem with the cheesesteak place.
Okay. Maybe that was just the first 14 times I'm willing to try again for science.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yes, that is you in the cheesesteak place.
The cheesesteak place and me have this war.
Every time. pretty
And I
much.
think I'm-
And then he
I'm-
does. He's like, I'll try it one more time. It
Dude,
just
I'm
sounds
willing to
really
call
good.
them out. I think that I think their problem is they don't clean their griddle.
Yeah, that's what
I crave, like deep crave, a bag of Takis or like hot Cheetos.
the hot ones.
And I don't know why, but every time
They
I'm like, it's gonna
ruin
be
ya?
different this time. It'll be okay. But then what's rough is that
You and
Every
Jacob
once
should.
in a
You and
while-
Jacob should have that talk
Every
because
once in a
that's
while-
the same with Jacob.
nothing happens. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm cured. I can do this
Finally
now.
have
I can,
tolerance.
and then I'll eat another bag. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is terrible.
But see, then that's you got to think though, Gabe, because maybe it really is the combination
It could be.
of the hot Cheetos with something else.
Yeah.
So it's really a matter of research.
Frenchie's like toilet sweats. Damn. You've never experienced this?
Turlet.
Yeah, it might be the gallon of milk I drink.
Where do you
afterwards.
live where you don't have like food
Turlet.
poisoning occasionally?
Yeah, Takis are not good for you, but they're delicious. Or like
Shouldn't have had that gas station sushi.
ugh. Poutine.
What are Takis?
Poutine. They're like chips.
They're like hot Cheetos, but
They're
they're, more
like
like
Cheetos.
Frito
Yeah.
kind of consistency. They're like these long,
Wait, isn't this something that Jason would like because they're like Fritos?
maybe, but they're really
They probably
spicy.
would. They have all different
Whoa,
flavors.
whoa, Big Bob. Did you just say you do hot Cheetos and chocolate milk at the same time?
It sounds
That
very
sounds
odd.
really
You're a heathen.
I
You know
just saw a video of a girl who was like, "Oh my gosh, I completely forgot about this snack that I used to eat as a kid, and I was really craving it the other day. So here it is, and I'm going to share it with you." And she had a glass of chocolate milk and a bowl of popcorn, and she took a few little pieces of popcorn and dropped it into the chocolate milk, and then scooped it out with a spoon and ate it like cereal. But she didn't put the whole bowl of popcorn, like she didn't dump the chocolate milk onto the popcorn, and eat it cereal that way. It was just like 4 or 5 little pieces of popcorn, sit there for a second in the milk, and then she scooped it out and ate it and said it
Ooh.
was the most amazing thing ever.
Add that to the list of what's wrong with the world.
It sounds good. It kind
True.
of sounds like the dipping your french fries in chocolate shake.
So my wife, I'm about to out her a little bit, has the weirdest taste in snacks that
Okay.
taste good.
Okay, what
But
is
on
she?
paper, they're weird.
What's she?
One
what's
of
she
them
do?
is hot Funyuns in cream cheese.
That sounds good.
It's very odd though. At first glance, it's very odd,
I probably,
but it is
So
incredible.
I didn't
Right,
know.
looks a
I
little
was
strange.
only about a week ago old when I realized that they had hot Funyuns.
Yeah, I
Like they
didn't-
have hot everything.
Everything is
Yeah.
Yes.
and
Hot
now.
Funyuns
Yeah.
slap. They're
Flamin'
so good.
hot Funyuns.
Yeah.
And I was like, why?
Because people.
Why aren't you just happy with the easy stuff we got?
No, because we have things like the one chip challenge and the hot takes and
Because if we're not punishing ourselves on the toilet
Exactly.
later,
It's
then
not
why are
worth
we
it.
doing it?
So
not worth it.
So I have a. That goes with my questions for like when you pull up to like Taco Bell. You're like, you already had hard shell tacos. What that gave you the super poops? Why did you need to make them out of Cheetos or Doritos?
For extra flavor.
I don't
Because
get
we're
had
in
a
America.
Freaking
Sushi
hipsters.
burrito with hot Cheetos in it. That was really good.
Freaking hipsters.
Wait.
That was awesome.
A sushi burrito with hot Cheetos in it.
Yes. So imagine
I can't even imagine.
imagine a sushi roll, but it's the size of a burrito,
Okay.
and it was rolled with hot Cheetos inside of it. Fantastic. So
What
good.
kind of sushi?
Like tuna and salmon
And hot Cheetos.
and hot Cheetos.
In a tortilla?
No.
Oh.
No.
You said
in,
burrito.
in,
No,
a,
but
in
no,
a
no.
seaweed wrapper.
Like a seaweed,
Okay.
seaweed tortilla.
Okay.
Yeah. That would.
All right.
He says no, like the tortilla is the weird part.
Jeez.
How
Yeah.
could I suggest something so
Jeez,
crazy?
Jen.
How could yeah?
How in the world
Come
would you
on.
suggest? That's over the top. That's over the top. I love Frenchie's like poutine, fries, cheese curds, and gravy. We
Yes.
love poutine
We
here.
love poutine. We just can't find it it's not very prevalent in Arizona.
There is one place that has green chili poutine that is
fantastic.
phenomenal.
I'm going to get poutine
Instead
tonight.
of gravy,
You are? Where?
You do
Well,
green
it's
chili.
not. I wouldn't say it's the best poutine
Oh.
I've ever had, but it's Snakes and Lattes.
Oh,
They do
We've been
board
there.
games and poutine,
we've been there.
and
Is
it's
it,
great.
you go to one in Tempe?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
We haven't been there in a long time. That
All
place
right.
is pretty fun.
Great.
I have assembled Lenmato.
Ta-da!
Time to prime it.
Nutrimentia said, no one will believe me, but peanut butter on tuna is good on a sandwich.
Raw tuna or tuna fish?
Right. That was. I was about to ask that. Are we?
Oh, yeah. Are we talking sushi tuna or are we talking like
Yeah.
chicken of the sea?
Tuna fish and peanut butter.
Mm.
It does not sound good.
It's hard for me to adapt to the idea of the fishy taste blended with anything. But I
Although
can see it salty and.
tuna fish on pizza is delicious.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I could do tuna on
Yep.
pizza.
Oh my
That sounds
God.
really
No, it's
odd.
good.
Yeah, I could do that.
Chat, this one belongs to me.
That it's the very that's I had it in Switzerland and it was very common to eat
Okay,
tuna
so
on pizza
let me
there.
stop you right there. Anything that Europeans do is not normal.
I didn't say it was normal. I said it was good.
Okay. Because that's still just flatbread.
Have you known me to ever order tuna on my pizza since we've known each other?
Thank God nobody here offers that.
A donation box of random local treats.
Make my own.
I guess so. It's one of those things where I can't, and I know that you just have to try it, but I can't think about tuna fish and the kind of spicy tomato sauce
That's good.
on a pizza. It just doesn't jive with me
Yeah.
for some reason. I don't know why. I feel like you need a donation box of random local treats.
If you drop them off, we'll eat them. Well,
Frenchie,
Man
you know,
will
cheese
fly
curds
too
are
close
hard
to the
find
sun
in your
every
vicinity.
single time.
Cheese curds aren't hard to find. They'll do poutine
can
for
get-
you at
Culver's?
At Culver's.
Really?
You just have to ask for
really?
it. Yeah.
Well, they do have the
They have
cheese
gravy.
curds.
Oh,
they have
like fast
gravy and they
food
have fries.
cartoons.
Yeah, all you have to do is go to Culver's. They have Gabe,
Yes.
there's your best poutine.
At Culver's?
It's actually really good.
Culver's.
Yeah.
I've never had it.
Okay.
It's a hidden
Well,
menu item.
Gabe, no, I mean, you're
But
already going
literally
to
go
Steaks
to
and
the
Lattes, but yeah, Four Peaks is
Go to Four Peaks and
where
get the
they have-
poutine because it's
Ooh.
absolutely phenomenal.
It's really good. It's green chili poutine.
Okay.
I'm
Instead of
sure
gravy,
there's
it's
something
green
is
chili.
beer battered. I'm sure.
Yeah, it's beer battered fries. It's really good though.
Sounds good.
Can confirm growing up in Germany, a lot of strange food, but amazing chocolate. This is true.
Oh yeah.
This is true. No, Europe has great food, but I'm like the thing that comes to mind with Europeans and fish is that there's some weird stuff that happens with fish over there.
Yeah.
Like especially if you go to Finland.
Well, sure. That's because they eat a lot of fish
Because it's
Right.
like everything's
Yeah.
fish.
and like
It's in the
It
name.
comes in like
the
toothpaste
Scandinavian.
tubes.
Yeah,
Finland.
like at IKEA, you can get that fish paste.
Yeah, the fish paste on the crackers that have no salt.
Gross.
Because the fish has
Gross.
got all the salt. See, I grew up having sardines, and lots of people think sardines are gross. But
I
sardines
don't
are
mind
pretty good.
sardines. Like a
I
sardine,
mean, I don't like
sardines on
fish.
crackers. Yeah,
Huh?
Sardines on crackers.
Yeah, like sardines
Yeah.
on crackers.
I'm down for that.
It's pretty good.
I don't like fish in general, so
Neither do I. Well, sort of.
Like
I
any
eat
like cooked
shrimp.
fish.
I like sushi.
Cooked
I don't like
fish.
sushi.
Okay.
Don't like sushi. Don't like cooked fish. I'll eat some shellfish. I do eat tuna fish.
Pineapple on pizza still isn't flatbread. You really want to go down this road, Law Dog?
No, we're not gonna get into that. Right now.
Yeah, but cheese curds are a Wisconsin thing.
Yeah,
You can get the
yeah,
the-
Midwest
It's called
for sure.
squeaky cheese.
Yeah, you can get them at any bar in Minnesota.
And you can ask for squeaky cheese.
Yeah.
That's what I was funny. Is like,
Yep. You eat the squeaky cheese and you play pull tabs.
yeah. Oh, pull tabs and squeaky cheese.
Yeah.
T. Schmidt says card painting was successful.
Nice.
Oh, awesome.
Heck yeah.
Meaning that you got it all over the car.
Yeah. We only spilled 3 bottles today. Yeah,
Grilled sardine on
yeah.
a slice of bread is
So
amazing.
good.
See, I'm a big fan of sardine, at least in my memory. It's not something that I have very often as an adult because my great grandmother loved it, and so we would eat sardines for lunch.
Right.
We'd have sardines, and she would have
It's definitely from that generation,
sweet
I think.
gherkins
Yeah.
and sardines.
My mom used to get canned
She made a
sardines.
mean
and I'd
grilled
just
cheese sandwich.
Open them up, throw them on some saltine crackers.
Yeah,
and-
saltine
Yeah?
crackers.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah.
Did she get that from like her grandparents?
I don't know. She may have grown up on it.
Yeah, that's
and
the thing.
and so she just had them. My dad hates sardines.
And the
So
other
it was
thing is
never
those
there.
smoked clams. The
you
smoked
like
clams
those
in the
too.
tin, the same sardine tin, right?
Mhm.
I can't do spam.
It's
Spam's
the-
too salty.
No? Oh,
The smoked clams and mustard.
I can see that.
So you get some mustard and you dip the smoked clams. You get a toothpick and you pick them out because they're like these weird cubes, and you dip it in the mustard. I'll
But
do that
spam-
today. I'll do that right
spam
now.
musubi.
Spam and sardines is a lot of salt.
So, you
like-
know, we have transparents way better than inks. That's all you need.
These food conversations are not good for my wallet because I'm thinking like
Gabe's
I'm
gonna
gonna
leave
go
here and go to
home,
5 different places.
I'm gonna make a sandwich. Well, I guess I'm gonna get poutine tonight, but I have other nights. And then we talk about food. And I'm like, well, crap. Now I gotta go get some fancy like curry, or I'm gonna go get sardines from the grocery store.
Oh, Big Bob,
That's your
we're
weekend.
flying.
Yeah, I was just looking at that too. I'm like, no, driving
ain't
from
nobody driving to
Arizona to,
DC. What are you,
Washington, D.C.
insane?
That'd be
Heck
crazy.
no.
That's a lumberjack Tim move. Ain't nobody got time for that. What makes a good coleslaw?
Cabbage,
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing makes a good coleslaw.
I had
A
good
little
coleslaw
sugar.
last night at Angry Crab Shack. Have to admit, it was very good.
a little sugar.
Yeah, I was gonna say it has to be a little bit of that.
Yes, sweet with vinegar. Little
trash
vinegar,
sweet
little
vinegar,
sugar.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's one of the few things I think vinegar belongs.
Yeah,
I'm there with Punisher.
a trash can.
A trash can.
What makes good coleslaw? A trash can. So how can you not like? I'm not
My
even-
aunt. Okay, so my aunt.
There's no reasoning with you people.
This is gonna sound strange, and maybe it's got a different name, but she called it coleslaw because it had cabbage and it had the base of coleslaw, the cabbage and the carrots and the sweet vinegary kind of sauce. But she also put apples and marshmallows in it.
Ooh.
So good
So I have in the South. I have had the marshmallow.
in the
in it.
coleslaw.
Yeah.
So
I don't
good.
know about fruit. I think there was like
The
some
apples
sort
because
of,
the crispiness
Yeah.
worked with it.
it was some sort
the
of
soft
like
of the
red.
marshmallow
Maybe
was
it was
perfect.
Like strawberry or something.
Ooh,
they
no,
did.
not
It was
strawberry.
weird.
Yeah, coleslaw on a pulled pork sandwich. So good.
Yeah, I had, and I'm kind of disappointed that I gave the rest of my shrimp basket away to my nephew. I let him take it home last night after dinner. Because right now, that sounds really good again. I had hush puppies. Their hush puppies are
Their
so
hush
good.
puppies are good there.
Me and my wife went to the Mexicano. It's a restaurant over on Tatum and Cactus,
Mm-hmm.
and they did it's a 3-foot long quesadilla with birria.
Oh, 3-foot long quesadilla.
It was awesome.
Was it just the two of you?
Just the two of us? It was
Is
fantastic.
that all you had?
We ate half of it.
Okay.
and then we took the rest home. But oh my
You're
gosh,
putting a
it's
half
so
a
good.
quesadilla at home.
The only thing, the restaurants just has loud music. Like
Yeah.
a lot of these restaurants have like the loud party music now, but their food is so good. The burrito is so good.
Transportation
No,
aren't a
transparent.
replacement for inks. Transparents aren't a replacement for inks. Better are washes. MHO. Xenophonetic. The transparents are the reason they exist is to do everything that inks do, but better. And they are like legitimately. The only thing that's different is that most inks tend towards more opacity than our transparents do. But that's what regular paint is for. The transparents don't give the sheen that an ink will. They don't re-agitate like an ink does because an ink technically, well, they can. The acrylic inks can actually dry. They have a medium that will polymerize, but they still move around more. But the transparents definitely, they thin better than inks do. They hold their vibrancy better than inks do at that thinning in most cases. Now, obviously, depending on what you're doing, you might have a tool that you use in the way of a De La Rowney or something that you've been using for years that you just know how it works. But the transparents will do what inks do for modelers better because they are an actual acrylic paint. Not an ink in an acrylic base. They are an acrylic paint. Right? So I think if you give them a shot, you'll find that we won't be making inks. There's no reason.
I agree. As somebody
Not
who
at
has
all.
used a lot of them in the past, I can tell you that
Yeah,
I
I've
have,
used inks for decades.
Yeah, I
And,
have
and the
no interest
transparents are the
anymore.
replacement for inks.
Yeah.
Because the problem with inks is that while they give you tremendous vibrancy, so do our transparents. And there's nothing that our transparents can't do that an ink does.
Yeah. They're just more flexible than inks are. They do all the things that the inks want to do with the inks, but
And more.
more, yeah.
Because you can mix them with other colors and have them work a lot better.
So Xenophonetic said I have the transparent. So are you finding that you're wanting an ink for something and the transparents are not working as a substitute for you?
Transparent brown is cheat mode for leather.
That model is so good.
I know. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think leather, the brown leather, is one of the most common ways that you've demonstrated how to use transparents, probably.
It's one
and
of the
wood.
real quick
'Cause it's
ways
easy, yeah,
to do
quick and
what
easy.
is such a pervasive thing in our industry. Well, I say our industry, that's not the way to say it. In our hobby, when you have, painting fantasy miniatures or whatever, we have a lot of leather. It's just a really quick way to distinguish between them. Really quick brown workup. You could make it flow more and do more coats. I don't understand.
I think that maybe he's talking about inks flow more and do more coats.
Flow more and do more coats like through an airbrush, you mean?
The problem is, like, you can't thin an ink as much as you can thin our transparents.
Yeah, a little bit of medium with our transparents. Like I said, our transparents work like acrylic paints. So you treat them just like acrylic paints in the airbrush. So yeah, they'll tip dry like acrylic paints. They'll act the same way. Whereas an ink, you could drop into an airbrush and paint for a lot longer with it and not get the same amount of tip dry. But that's easy to overcome. You put a little bit of flow improver in with the transparents, which you can't do with inks. And all of a sudden you've got way better control. So yeah, the process will be a little bit different for you. And if you're used to your inks, I'm not trying to convince you not to use inks. Inks will still do a great job. But we won't be releasing them because the transparents do the same exact thing and more. Right? Because the inks have to sit next to your acrylics and be used in particular situations, but not in tandem with your acrylics. Whereas the transparents do all of that same stuff that inks do and can be mixed in with your acrylics in your normal flow because they're just more paints. So it just makes life a little bit easier. We're lazy painters, and we also don't believe that you should have to ever buy a color twice because you need to use it differently, right? So that's why we do like our glaze wash medium, so that you can have your favorite color of blue be a wash that you can then add another color to make it lighter and highlight over the top of your wash. Everything works together in our system. It's very modular, if you want to say it that way. in terms of, you know, the transparents work just like the other paints. You can add them and mix them to the other paints. You can use them with the glaze wash medium. You can mix them into the washes. You can do anything you want to with it. Same way you can with the opaque, same way you can with the metallic, same way you can with the fluorescents when the fluorescents come out. Everything that we do is meant to be modular so that no matter what you're painting, you don't have to buy like another set of paints to speed paint. You don't have to buy another set of paints for inks. You don't have to buy another set of paints for when we come out with the not an oil wash. You don't have to buy another set of paints to oil wash with. You know, the things that we're making are all made to make your favorite color work exactly the way you want it to. And there's just nobody else that does that. Everybody else is more than willing to sell you more stuff. Right? We want to sell you more time is really what we're doing. You buy our paints and you get more time to paint.
Nutrimension wants to know if it would be bad to mix up glaze medium and water in its own dropper bottle.
Would it be bad to mix up glaze medium and water in its own dropper bottle? No, why? If you wanted to thin some glaze medium down for use consistently, yeah, you could put it in one of our mixing bottles or whatever you want. And then be able to just have your own wash base. Like, get rid of the glaze part of it and just make it a wash medium. Yeah. Definitely. Do like a 50-50 glaze wash and water, and that way you could just add a drop of color and, you know, 5 drops of your glaze medium that you have mixed with water already. Yeah, and you can just make a wash out of that real quick. Just have it in a bottle.
Yeah, they're diluting in advance, I think was his concern. I
No
think that there
problem.
are some things that you don't want to mix with water and leave it because of bad water or mold.
Yeah, Xenophanetic, you could, again, you know, you can take the transparents and mix them with the glazed wash medium and still maintain a tremendous amount of vibrancy and use them like a wash. I'm not understanding. You say you want a wash but more opaque. That's not what washes are, but if you got something that works for you, keep doing it. There's as many ways to paint as there are painters. I've said that for every
that
year
is
you've known me.
100% true.
And I am not trying to make you change what you do.
No.
If you do something in a way that nobody else does it, but you enjoy the outcome, keep doing it. Honestly. The biggest part to art is it's kind of like controlled chaos. And when you find the chaos that makes you happy, go with it. Go with it until it doesn't make you happy anymore and then change it. You know, there are no rules. There's fundamental things that will make life easier when you use particular techniques and methods, but that doesn't mean you have to. You can do things the hard way, you know?
Because maybe that's what's comfortable, because it's familiar.
Well, yeah, it's because it's the old dog, no new tricks kind of thing, right? There's
I
a
do
lot
it
of
this way
things that I
because it
find
works.
myself doing, and I'm like, I don't have to mix these colors.
Yeah.
We have this
Yeah.
color, you know? And yet still sometimes you'll find me, mixing colors on my palette to make colors that we have in our line.
Yeah, I've done that
just
before,
because
too.
it's so natural for
Yeah.
me to just go with I get lost in the flow of painting and don't think about going and grabbing another color. Like I said, I'm lazy. Traditionally, I'm lazy. I want to have painting be a very kind of symbiotic process. It just goes. I don't have to stop thinking about what I'm painting. I just reach and I grab the color and I add a little bit more this and that. And I'll build a tint and a shade off of a base tone. And by the time I'm done, I'm like, crap, I could have saved myself a bunch of time by just using pale pink, or whatever color I had made.
All right, here's a big question. What color am I doing the troll?
Pink.
No.
Plaid.
Pale pink.
Glad.
Plaid.
Pink.
And Big Bobzilla, I just want to throw out there that I'm not going to be at Nova. I'm not going to be there. So
You should
you
do
shouldn't
it
be giving
Baby
Jason all of
Jay's having
these
such a hard time with
these
it.
delicious
Non-metallic metal.
treats when I'm not there
No.
to
It's a
enjoy them as
statue.
well.
Don't listen
Thank
to her.
you.
Don't listen to her.
Pink plaid.
Big Bob, I got you. I won't even tell her we got amazing treats.
I know now. He's already said he's gonna bring pie and chocolate milk.
I don't know what happened to that Big Bob guy. He never even showed up. Never even came to the show. I felt robbed. I didn't get any of the tasty treats or
Until
anything.
he comes back here and starts raving about his pie. And didn't you love that pie, Jason and Jordan, that you got when I brought you pie and chocolate milk at Nova
I
Open?
don't know what you're talking about. No, there was no pie.
Yeah.
You need
I
to
do like
freehand
pie.
scales on that troll. Snake troll.
Oh goodness.
Stream is over at 5 p.m. Jay the Younger, what if you're free-handed scales on the troll?
Well,
No.
that's what Gabe just said.
No, I
Nope.
was reading comments.
He was reading it.
Hi
comments.
and no. Heck no.
Law Dog
We
said,
don't
Baby
do
J, I
that.
was on a call when you mounted that model to the handle. What magic is holding that chunk on? I end up having to use brass rods to hold up heavier stuff.
Sticky tack.
A
Sticky tack.
big old lump of sticky tack.
White poster tag.
Earlier in the stream, he peeled it off of the sacrifice.
It's
In
reusable.
spectacular fashion.
Xenophonetic has actually a really cool idea to paint the ogre stone like as if it was in sunlight. You could have it be like transforming into stone. That'd be sick.
That sounds like a lot of work.
But that sounds awesome.
That sounds like an awful
You know,
lot
like
of
if
work.
his hands were starting to turn to stone.
What if you sculpted scales on that model?
Oh no. Not you too, Jen.
No, that was Wad Tomato. That was your friend.
That's your friend.
Wad is not a friend.
Wad
He's-
Tomato. I apologize
he's a
for anything
monster.
that comes out of Baby J's mouth in the next 5 minutes. Directed in your direction. I have a feeling he's going to be very mean to you.
Law Dog said, no shot, which is a really fun autocorrect, I think. I have blue sticky tack and museum putty
You can also glue
that
aquarium
wouldn't
gravel
hold that
onto
on.
You have a family friendly phone.
Is white sticky tack different than blue?
I don't know. We only use white because it's cheap on Amazon. You can buy like 18 pages of it that have those little like chiclet sized poster tack things that you peel off.
Yeah, they
It's
look
just
like, yeah,
easy.
they do. They look like chiclets.
It's just easy.
Blue works too. Blue's great.
What are you talking about, Nutrimentia? That's his name. Wad Tomato N.
It is, in fact, Wad Tomato N's name. I only proclaim Wad Tomato's name as Wad Tomaton when I'm mad at Wad Tomaton. It's like,
Nutra says automaton equals Wad Tomaton. You ask him
That's not
yourself.
right.
His name is literally Wad, Tomato N.
yes.
No shot is some Zoomer talk I picked up accidentally.
So now they speak in their poor spelling.
In,
They speak
in
in
their
misspell.
ducking poor spelling.
At least your white is for artist paintings. What are we talking about?
sticky tack.
Oh, yeah. White is less sticky? Boy, ours is not. Ours is like super glue. Maybe it's because I take so long to paint my models that they've been sitting on the thing
The
for a
tack
year.
for
Yeah.
a long time.
And so when you go to take it off, they don't move. I took a model off. I put it on the shelf, and I that one day, I don't know if anybody remembers, but it was a few months ago or something. I had to pry. Somebody wanted to see the.
You went to grab it and like.
I had to pry it off. I had to get a screwdriver and pry it off of the shelf because the little
got
bit of
two
sticky tack
hands
that was
for
on
a
it was like
tiny
super
little
gluing it
model.
to the shelf. It's crazy. It's up there stuck again. It's the Christmas one.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody was talking about Ralph Bakshi's Wizards, and so I brought him down and showed. But I had to pry him off the shelf for crying out loud. Newt, those who know you call you Newt. Well, you've been around for a long time, and I feel like I should be allowed to know you, but I'm just learning this today. Newt.
No one ever said, "Oh, my friends call me Newt."
Xenophonetic,
So-
yeah. We just get cheap poster tack, so I'm sure
We
there's
must not be
nothing. It's
friends.
not for like any kind of special stuff. It's like for preschoolers to hang their pictures on the walls.
Okay. I think I know.
What color are you gonna do the skin?
I think I'm gonna do blue.
Nutrimentia fighting the fight I gave up a long time ago.
I think, honestly, I think that we called him Watomaton until Jordan came here.
I called him Watomaton all the way up
And
until
then-
Wad Tomato N was
and
a
then
thing Jordan
and then
created.
no, I think I was like, or is it Wad Tomato N? And then that's when we all embraced it.
I still call him
Started
Watomaton. He yells at me and tells me it's
I
Wad
call him
Tomato
Wad
N.
Tomato now.
Wad,
just call
there's
him
only
Wad
one
Tomato
person
N.
looking out for you here, and it's me. I
But
don't know
when
what
you
that-
get
I don't
a
know what
special
what that does to
nickname-
your thoughts about your life. But
But
you
a
got
special
me.
nickname is endearing. It's something that is for your friends. You
Purple
give your
Alice.
friends special nicknames.
What's going on? Thank you for the follow.
Like New Guy Phil.
Watomaton.
Nutrimentia is a mouthful when playing Xbox. Lol. That's what Nutra said. So change your name. You're literally complaining that your name is hard to speak. So change your name. You have that power. You can literally type it in right now and go from Nutramentus on your stream to Newt.
When will there be more easy and comfy to buy your products in EU?
Purple, you can get them at PK Pro. They're constantly looking. I think they're opening up 3 new stores out of the shipment too, right? They got racks.
Yes, they had, I think, 6 racks.
Yeah. I think we've got a store opening up in France. The Jeremy from Figone, I'm hoping is going to start carrying the paints. So depending on where you're at, it's going to be getting easier and easier as more stores open up, of course. But you can always get direct from PK Pro. You've been Nutramentia online forever. It's a Benjamin Ben type thing. I mean, I don't mind it. I can say Nutramentia. It's not a hard thing.
That's not difficult.
I think you're hanging out with the wrong crowd.
But it is. It's like, you know, you give your friends shortened names.
I call you Jen
Yeah, everybody does.
because Jennifer's hard.
It's too much. That's not my name.
Too
It's
much.
not a name.
It's not my name.
Too much.
It's
it's
not
a name.
my name.
It's not my name. My name is Jen.
And Gabe's too hard, so I call him Jabe.
Jade.
Yep.
Are you really Gabriel?
I am.
Okay. I figured.
Future's like the wrong crowd. You mean here? No, we're not on Xbox. I'm bringing it full circle. I pay attention to the words you say, Nutramentia.
Gentleman in the corner, that's Jabe.
Jabe.
That's Jabe.
Because you gotta have a J name in this room.
You're not allowed
Oh,
to not have
hello.
one.
That's Jay. We had Jacob in here a minute ago, which is actually his, well, that's his fake name. His
Jakob.
real name is Jakob.
Yeah.
He's a Russian spy. But
Jabe, yes, Jabe. Everyone in this room has to have a J name.
It's true.
more than 2 syllables is too many, says xenophonetic.
I gave up.
That's like 5.
See, no phonetic.
It's 5. He said more than 2 syllables is too many. So I hypocrite. To fly the hypocrite flag. My name is Jason.
My
That
name
was as
is
good as
Jason.
Turlet.
Jason. My entire name is Jason Douglas Praise. There's only 5 syllables
Yeah.
in my whole name.
Mine is very short.
I have
It's
7.
4.
What did we talk about?
That's 5.
Turlet? Turlet sweats again?
Turlet sweats. No, I said that xenophonetic saying that more than 2 is too many is as good,
As
as
turlet.
entertaining to me as Turlet.
As turlet. Xenophonetic. Avian says, so I have to ask, as I just got home, flatbread or pizza for dinner?
Flatbread.
What is for dinner? Because I would like good food.
We had good food for lunch.
What do we have? Oh, we did. We had
Fried
chicken
and
beef.
rice.
That was really good, too. That was a bummer. I felt like it wasn't as enjoyable as when we have it at home.
I kind of think it wasn't. I felt a little too rushed.
Yeah, it was rushed.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a meal you want to
It's still
savor. You
delicious,
want to
but
enjoy
it needs.
Hey, what kind
it's
of
a home
cheating is
meal.
going over here with this color on your model?
What do you mean?
What do you mean, what do I mean?
It's blue.
You're supposed to paint him at Nova.
Oh.
Oh, did you forget that you're leaving tomorrow?
I mean, I wasn't going to paint him from start to finish in Nova. There's a lot of work that goes to these models.
We got a lot of time to sit there and paint. It's like all day stream.
Do you have to see what I have to deal with, chat?
You realize I've been painting this thing for like 15 minutes.
This is his 3rd color.
Yeah. Unironically, like, I've been doing this for a hot minute.
He's pre-painting.
Pre-painting.
Like, I'm over here having fun with our friends in chat, and he's cheating. That's what's happening.
Is it a race? Are we racing to paint models at Nova? Is this like...
Well, I said you could get a model to paint at Nova. This is not Nova.
So,
Well,
are you guys have airbrushes at Nova?
No.
No, I'm not a filthy heathen. I'm not painting mine with an airbrush.
I certainly am.
Clearly. We should make him prime it all again. Undo it all.
Avian wants to know what is good food for slope use. Well, it needs to have at least 2. Taste good, feel good, come out good.
Yeah,
And then
it's
it's
the
good
food
food.
triangle.
That is the definition of good food.
long as it's-
G-U-D-F-U-D.
As long as it's
G-U-D.
got two of them.
Hold on, then.
F-U-D.
Good
What-
food.
Have you ever had
Good
a food
food.
that didn't taste good but felt good and came out good and was okay?
That's where we had that conversation.
We just had that
earlier.
whole conversation.
Like,
yeah, but
how
like,
do people
I feel
do
like
that?
tasting good is a requirement.
It should
It's
be,
one of the three.
but there are some people who are like, nah,
I'm
I
not
just need
trying to
nourishment.
judge.
Okay, plain white rice.
I'm not trying to judge.
Plain white. I love.
Is
Plain
delicious.
white rice.
Talk
I
to
love
it's
plain
boring.
White rice.
talk to
It's boring.
Lumberjack
It
Tim.
sounds so boring, but I love it. The sticky, just
I feel
delicious.
like the food that doesn't taste good is the sense that's good for you. You know.
Right, like, well, and yeah, plain white rice is what they give dogs when they're, have stomach problems. So it's probably
Like
safe.
wheatgrass juice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, I'm literally gonna make like pot stickers and white rice for dinner tonight.
Well, that sounds great.
Yeah.
What is
Because
what
it
is
was
my
delightful.
definition of good? My definition of good food changes daily, right?
does.
Because it's a
It's whatever you're in
subjective
the
thing.
mood
It's like,
for.
what are you in the mood for? And right now I'm not in the mood for anything, which is a bummer.
Thank you for the follow, D20 Geek.
Why? Thank you, sir.
Getting Chipotle.
That also
See, that's
sounds
up
good.
Jen's alley. She likes chipotle.
I do.
Chocolate peanut butter pie.
It is Tuesday, Jason.
I'm
so
not
that
a,
means
okay.
it's
So me and peanut butter are
Takeout
distant
Tuesday.
relatives. I have right now in the fridge. I have dark chocolate covered peanut butter cups from
Yep.
Trader Joe's,
Ooh.
and I can do like one or two of those every now and then. So that thing lasts quite a while.
It does,
right?
yeah.
That
I
thing
don't, because
lasts
I
quite
don't
a
eat
while.
them. I like just the Reese's. I don't like the fancy peanut butter cups. If I'm eating a peanut butter cup, it's gonna be Reese's, or I'm not eating it.
Which
I
is
don't
so
like those.
odd you don't like
I know,
milk
it's weird.
chocolate.
I know.
It's weird.
It's
Wait, Jen,
it's
you don't
strange.
like milk chocolate?
I don't like milk chocolate.
That is
Oh,
kind
I
of
mean-
strange.
chocolate.
So I wouldn't say I don't like it.
Wad says Jason's definition of good food is has no pain in it. Not true, because
Has
I
no
like
paint.
spicy stuff.
Has no paint in
Oh,
it.
paint in it.
I read
sorry.
pain too, and I thought that was funny.
I
Which
thought
is
pain
correct.
because I was like, I like hot stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, you were going to use me to make your mind up for dinner? Well, if it was because we had to choose between
Oh.
pizza or flatbread, it's definitely pizza. Although some flatbreads are delicious. What are my choices here? That's a big, broad range.
Could be bad.
Like, are we talking about anchovy pizza versus pineapple and ham flatbread?
It could be Tostitos party pizza.
Are you making me choose between both sides of hell, or just what's the deal?
Jason had never had pizza rolls until like 2 years ago.
What?
I know.
Well, when
That's crazy.
He wasn't missing out.
Yeah, it was just
No,
a couple years
Tostitos
ago.
pizza rolls are the
since
best.
I've known you.
Since you've known me, but it was only a couple years ago.
Pop those
Okay.
bad boys in the air
It was for
fryer.
sure at the
Ah.
old house. It wasn't at the Gilbert house.
So good.
So it's definitely been within the past 5 years.
Oh, okay. Big Bob, if you're trying to get me pie, it's got to be fruit
Fruit
I mean,
pie.
you
or
like that
cobbler. I'll tell you
chocolate
this:
one.
if you're trying to win the way to my heart, it's blackberry cobbler is a huge one. It has to have like the cinnamon crumble topping.
See,
right.
hold on. Is a cobbler
or
a pie?
like
It's
a
not.
good tart cherry pie.
That's
But my fruit pies can't be overly sweet because I don't like the canned pie filling kind of sweet. If you're doing that, you might as well get a fried, like a Dolly Madison fried
those are
pie at
good.
the gas
Yeah,
station because
those are
that's where
good.
that belongs.
Yep.
But if you're doing a pie, it's like I love apple, cherry, not peach,
Homemade filling is the best.
none of that nonsense.
Strawberry rhubarb pie is probably my
Not a big
favorite.
fan of strawberry rhubarb, but it's okay.
I never particularly cared
Anchovies
for-
are just salt delivery systems, correct? That taste like fish. Only
Christopher?
unicorn chocolate
No.
for gin. We already had a whole tuna round with
No.
Olive Garden. Run, not tuna. What? You had a whole run
Whole
around
run
with
around
Olive.
with
Oh yeah,
Olive
yeah.
Garden.
I
Yeah.
get what you're saying.
Which is the tuna part was confusing because we did also talk about tuna.
But avian,
What
I
kind
would
did
go
you
for
just,
if you have the option of either pizza or flatbread, I would choose the flatbread. I've never said flatbread is bad. I enjoy a flat. There's a couple of places like what there's a pretty good flatbread at what place we go?
Mm.
The soup place.
Cafe Zupa?
Oh, Cafe Zumas?
Cafes. No. The other place. Panera Bread.
Oh,
They have a pretty good one.
yeah, they might have good flatbread.
They have a pretty good one. It has like a good salt, salty pepperoni on it.
You know,
but it's a
I
thick
miss
cut.
I
Hipster
miss
pepperoni.
Paradise Valley Bakery. I'm not a fan of Panera.
Oh, Paradise Bakery, yeah.
I miss
Their
Paradise
cookies
Bakery.
were way better.
They're-
Nothing beats a blueberry cobbler from Dutch Oven. Blueberry. See, I'm a blackberry fan, but blueberry could rank. I'm a fan of blueberries. It's just, for me, blueberry's a little much in a pie because blueberry's one of those things I can take in small amounts, but a lot of it. Just
It is
gets
a
old
lot.
quick.
It is a lot in a pie.
I mean, you like a blueberry muffin, so.
Blueberry muffin.
A muffin is a
But
perfect
it's
delivery
yeah.
system.
I don't
for-
know that I'm a big fan of like blueberry pie because it's just too much blueberry.
That's a lot of blueberry.
Yeah, it's a lot of blueberry.
Big Bob, I feel flatbread has limits. You get a large pizza, you're going to eat way more than you should. Yeah, because flatbread is just you're confined to this smaller thing. It's like a personal pizza.
Unless you're looking to destroy your daily caloric intake, in which case, by all means, enjoy the pizza.
Nutra, have fun picking up your burrito. Thanks for hanging with us.
It is
Christmas
5:15
sushi says
around
deep
here.
question. Which
Oh, yeah,
one?
5-12.
So you said cobbler, and Christopher loves this question. He asks it every time pie is mentioned. Is cobbler a pie?
No.
No.
He
Not a
always
pie.
he loves it. He loves that question.
It
It
loves
would
it.
be
Does
called
he
a
have
pie,
an answer,
would it not?
Christopher? Do you have an answer? Like, do you feel that there's a
No,
right
he
answer
never
to the
answers
question?
it. He never answers
Oh,
it.
he just is taking a
He
survey.
just likes to pick different sides so people debate.
Is it kind of like a, is it a pie? And then he steps back and watches.
Exactly.
Cobbler cobbler is like pie soup.
Pie soup? No, it's like pie with, but it doesn't. Cobbler doesn't have a crust on the bottom, right? And it's not
Yeah.
round. Pie,
Yeah.
it's just the fruit and then the crumble on the top.
Yeah, it's the crumble on top. You're missing the pie crust part.
Yeah.
There are people that are heathens that do the pie crust and then put the cobbler mixed up on the
Well, then
inside
it's
of it. But
then it's a
just
pie with a crumble
It's
top.
cobbler pie. I don't know.
Because I've made an apple pie with a crumble top on it, but it's a pie. It's not a cobbler.
See what Christopher's doing?
Chris is just horrible.
Chris
See
is
what-
horrible
just
human being.
horrible.
See what he's doing?
Christmas
No, we
sushi is a horrible
agree. I
human
mean,
being.
Jason and I are in agreement that a cobbler is not a pie.
I think you better be careful because I think
Whoa.
he's at the other end of the
He
building.
is.
He is.
He is.
So,
He's lurking.
Chris, can you get out of the building before I get over there? I have a door on my side too, remember. Can you get in your car and locked before I'm over there? What fluorescent colors are we getting? So right now we're testing orange, yellow, green, pink, purple, orange, yellow,
there's
green, pink, purple, and we have a blue, but I think the blue will get replaced with a true red.
Yeah, the blue doesn't.
So we will have
That's not
pink, purple, yellow, green, orange, and red. Chinese food on
Did-
Christmas is a thing.
did
I've
someone
worked
say it
plenty of
wasn't?
Christmas Day, and it's the only thing available.
Well, 100% it's a thing.
It definitely is.
I've had it before.
Chinese on Christmas?
You went with a Cubano.
Mm.
Nothing wrong with that.
Oh, you know what I want?
What do you want?
I don't want to say it because I can't get it.
Chino Bandito?
Well, always, but that's not what I was thinking.
Her thing she wanted
What were
just
you thinking
changed.
The Tokyo Joe's.
Oh,
With
man.
that banh mi bowl.
Why
Oh
did
my
they
God,
have to
it's
close
so
that
good.
down?
Tokyo Joe's?
Yeah.
Yes.
Which one?
All
one
of them.
on Camelback.
There's I used to go to one growing up that was on Scottsdale Road in
Dead.
Bell.
That's too far.
Is it
Yeah,
gone?
I think the only one is now
What?
like
Dead.
super
I think
far
there's
north.
one in the valley.
Tokyo Joe's was the
I
best.
know. Or in like Awatuki.
That's so sad.
Xenophonetic blue just doesn't register as a fluorescent.
Yeah.
You're better off to put transparent blue thin down over white.
We got
It's the same thing, basically.
102nd Avenue and McDowell.
Yeah.
We have Val Vista and something in Mesa. And 143rd Avenue and Bell.
Oh my god.
That's
The only three.
terrible.
So basically the west side one.
Yeah.
That's awful.
One in Mesa.
Yes, and now I'm bummed because now I don't have a good path to a pleasant dinner in because it's too hot for soup.
You
Yeah,
do Mascadoras,
definitely too hot.
Taco Tuesday.
Because we mentioned soup earlier, and I was like, I could go for some soup,
No.
but it's hot outside.
is-
It's
it was
Arizona.
so
It's the
hot
surface
today.
of the sun. No soup.
It was way too hot today.
Not in a pizza mood.
No.
The last couple times we've done mod, they've not been pleasurable.
Oh, mine
Pasta?
was pretty good.
Oregano's? Pasta?
Oh, I don't want oregano's.
Oregano's?
Hold
Pasta's heavy.
Too
We ate
much,
lunch, so
yeah.
we don't too much.
Oh, you need something lighter? Thai?
That time. too long ago. I don't want to.
Couple weeks
Or
ago.
some fresh rolls or something.
What are we eating for dinner, chat? I need some ideas. Big Bob says it's like 65 here right now. Bastard, shut up.
Bastage.
I almost.
I almost flipped him off.
Big Bob generally flipped you off live on stream.
And I remembered I was live on stream.
Yeah.
He held it in, Big
I
Bob.
did.
It's a rarity. She must like you. As well, if you want, I can't
No,
those are made
bond
up
me.
words.
Bond me, but
Banh mi.
that's what I want that I can't get.
Okay,
because
there's
they
a
don't
really
have
good
one.
place that does banh mi's called
Aren't there like a
Hello
million?
Vietnam. They do amazing banh mi's, and they're like
Is that close?
$7. They have a couple of them. I don't know where the closest one is. to
I'm
you.
sure there's a place around here you could get banh mi.
There's one that's like on
close.
Indian School.
So, but at Tokyo Joe's, they had it as a bowl. It's delicious. So good.
Zips has good wings.
Do
they
they?
though?
No, I don't know about that.
Not really. Zips is one of those places I don't really like to go.
Zips is not a
All their
place
food
that I
is
ever think
just
of to go.
microwaved. It's
I mean,
like
it's
microwave
sports
bar
bar
food. It
food.
always makes me feel bad.
It is. It's like frozen appetizers from Costco food in the fryer.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Man, that bar that we went to when I was here visiting with the tachos.
Cold beer and cheeseburgers.
Oh, cold beer and cheeseburgers.
So
Yes.
good.
Dude, I could do cold beer and cheeseburgers.
Buffalo chicken tachos. That's the place that had
Just
that
regular tachos.
the grilled cheese burger. That's
I would just go for the tachos.
where
to
it
be
was
honest
the
with
2
you.
grilled
They were
cheeses
really good.
with a Juicy Lucy patty. That was awesome.
Their Juicy Lucy is not good.
What is a Juicy Lucy?
It's a cheese stuffed burger.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
It's okay.
Not my cup of tea.
But their
that's for
buffalo
sure.
chicken
You-
tachos.
if
are
you
next
want
level.
a Juicy Lucy, you buy yourself a plane ticket to Minnesota and you go to the 5-8 Club and you get yourself a Juicy Lucy.
Waffles Enjoyer, hello. Can you send me samples of all your paints?
No.
I do not have a YouTube channel. I do not have a website, but I can definitely tell my neighbor about them.
No.
I enjoy your honesty, first off.
But an oval.
You can
Honesty does not get you anywhere here.
you can you can you can send your request to support.
So
and,
that I have to answer
We
it.
do not have the proper authorization on this stream, as we are just the entertainers. But if you email support, someone will get back to you as soon as possible.
Because Punisher, when you put it inside, it gets all of the burger juice with it, makes it even meltier and better.
I always burn my mouth on
First
Juicy
of all,
Lucy patties.
I'm glad
See,
Miniac
again,
rated you. Your stream's
You gotta go to
awesome.
the place
Thank
where they
you.
originated because they make them perfectly.
So Schwartz says, "I'm glad Miniac rated you. Your stream's awesome." Why? Thank you. That is. That,
Oh my gosh! If you're still here from
That's awesome.
Miniac,
Thank you.
that's
That is
awesome.
fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, to everybody that has been lurking and enjoying. Sometimes we have the whole studio set up to where we can just lounge and have a good, more podcasty hangout time, and these are very good for us. We hope that you guys enjoy them as well.
So Jordan's bringing a finished model to Nova.
I'm not.
He definitely is. He's just a cheater. He's just a cheater.
at
Tomorrow
the
he's going to
colors.
prep another model
That's
for Nova.
5 colors now.
Juicy
Well,
Lucy's
yeah,
are
which
fine,
one?
but like, why not just put the cheese on the patty like
I already
normal?
answered
Pun, I'm
that.
with you.
I already answered that
I'm
question.
with you. I'm not. These
You
guys
haven't
are
had one. You don't
fruitcakes.
know.
One of them's name is Hipster Gumby, and the other
Oh,
one
man.
doesn't believe her name is a name. So
Jen is a name.
you said Jennifer's not a name.
I said Jennifer's not. I said it's not my name.
It's
I didn't say it wasn't a name. I said it's not my name.
Xenophonetic. Sadly, you were doing MMA, mixed martial arts.
When?
Automaton says, "Can you send me some paints? Jen is
No.
the smartest one there and beautiful to boot. I could probably come up with other flatteries if needed."
So you're
once again-
definitely barking up the wrong tree.
Once again, please send your request to support
Support comes to me,
at monumenthobbies.com.
and I think we've very much determined over the course of time that I don't like to give away stuff.
Jen is not the one to ask for free
I'm
stuff.
very stingy.
She's very stingy.
I
She
didn't
is.
have siblings. I'm not good at sharing.
When we were giving away bags, and we said we were going to give away a bag, and then we gave away 3 bags. She was going
had to leave.
berserk.
Had to leave.
Oh, that's so good. So good. Did I say Jen? I mean Jason. Well, that's what I read it as. As soon as you said beautiful to boot, I was like, he got the names wrong.
So here's the thing. Also, follow up for you, Watam-san. Jason doesn't know how to send stuff out. And he sends me a note and says, "Can you please send stuff to this person?"
I don't even send notes anymore. I just put orders in because I'm still dangerous with the order creation.
We gotta put an end to that.
There's a button that says create order, and I type in a name and I load it up with stuff, and I just hit go.
I gotta fix it.
And then I don't even. Then it's like it never even happened. Like I don't even ever. Nobody ever talks to me about it. It just is. Except for you get stuff and you call me and you tell me how much you love me. My life is great.
So here are things that everybody needs to know is just a blanket understanding of Monument Hobbies. Don't eat the paint.
Stop listening right now.
Oh, no. After the don't eat to paint.
We don't have samples.
We don't have samples.
We could ask for a lot of samples.
Yes,
No.
we do.
Yeah, we do. We get
We
asked
do.
all the time for samples. There's no
We
such
do.
thing as samples.
We should start sending them on like one drop on a petri dish.
Yeah.
It's
there
like
you go.
unusable, but it's technically a sample, right?
Yeah.
Put some in like a hospital pee cup.
Yeah.
We should get some of those urine.
Those are
sample
too big.
cups.
Those are bigger than a paint bottle.
Well, we just put a little in it.
No.
Yaris Tony says you have to wait until Jen leaves. That's when the Go Bag Evos come out.
Havian, I haven't signed an invoice in, well, I shouldn't say none, but that's not my job.
What do you mean the invoice? Your
Handed
packing
that
slip?
the packing slip.
That's the
I've
whole crew.
handed that over to a wonderful and capable team of people who take care of all the orders now.
We do have an amazing fulfillment
We have
team.
a fantastic fulfillment
That
team.
gang does a great job, and
And,
they all love you.
The whole team is good, not just fulfillment.
They may not draw fun pictures like I used to do, or that Jen used to do.
Well, because probably nobody asks.
That's true.
It was a rare thing.
So, hey, chat, here's the thing. You can always test our fulfillment group by placing a note on your order saying you would like a picture of insert cool thing here.
What do you mean they need to work on their signatures?
They need to work on their signatures because you can't read them. It looks like Jen.
I mean,
Maybe the whole team is signing Jen just so they don't have to be
so
held
they don't
accountable
put
for
their own
things.
name; they put your name on it.
Ah, that's true. It's your name, Avian.
Listen. If you guys ask them to draw a dinosaur on the box, they will probably draw a dinosaur on the box. I haven't
Well.
seen anybody asking them for it.
You've done this with many companies, Big Bob. It's hilarious. What have you gotten in return? I used to draw some funny stuff.
I did
on them.
every time somebody asked for something. I did it.
Yeah.
Every single time.
She would come to me and she would be
Except
like,
for
"Okay, they
samples.
want a dinosaur. I don't know how to do this." And so I would maybe show
No,
you. Like,
well, you did some because there were some specifically requesting art from
no,
you.
but you would ask and I'd go, "Oh, I do it like this," and I draw it real quick on a piece of paper, and then you would go make it yours.
I would go online and just type in doodles of whatever people asked for. So like if they said, "Hey, draw me a robot," I would write robot doodle, and then I would just copy whatever. I'm not a very good drawer of things.
Wait. I have to go back up because Big Bob says this is why I'm hashtag Team Jen. What the absolute heck are you talking about, sir?
He's talking about making the right choices in life.
Making the right choices
She
in
was the
life.
one putting these horrible rules on us and clamping us down during Nova, and all of a sudden you're still Team Jen. I feel like there's some Stockholm syndrome going on here, Big Bob. We're laundering orders. I just put the order in, man. I just give people cool stuff. Well, it's like the other wrinkle is I already have all the stuff. For sample, go to con booth with mini in hand. Now you've got it, Zeno.
That's actually
you could
right.
literally bring an unpainted mini to the con and paint the whole damn thing at our booth. We don't even care. Fantastic. Have at it. We'll put a spotlight on you. Have people come up and watch you. We'll make it to where you can't leave and get food or go to the bathroom until the miniature's done. This is going to be a hellhole.
Well, Light and Passion, you have to make sure that you don't misspell doodle as duty, and then you're fine.
Dinosaur duty instead of doodle. No, they wrote doodle, but like the piece of paper got cut off, so the L became an I. You know, like a little scratch, and you drew dinosaur duty. You need to be on that person's good side. who has the pocketbook.
Also,
that's
it is 5:30.
It is 5, yeah. 5,
Time to go.
5:26.
time to go. As much as I love doing this, I got to go home and get some food. We still don't know where we're getting.
Time.
Jen's driving to Vietnam to get bomb me, according to Gabe.
No. Cactus
And
and Tatum.
I'm going and getting tachos at Cold Beer and Cheeseburgers.
That sounds so good. All right.
And
Small.
Jordan's
ready
model's
to go.
done, and this time we've been
Yeah.
chatting. He's going to get there and do like a couple of coats of dry brush and be like, done,
Wait, hold on. This is less done than
done,
you saw how long the
Finished.
Okay, fine. We're done. We're shipping
done.
Jen, do you want to do
Ship it.
the stuff over here?
What's that?
it. Huh?
The closing out stuff?
Oh.
I know how to do part of it, but not the full thing.
Oh, the typing part?
I know how to
Gabe
do the
can't type.
typing part.
Gabe's gonna learn the hard way.
I know how to do the
can't
typing
read
part.
or
See,
write.
watch.
Just
I'll do it
press
right now.
buttons
So
on the
this part
keyboard
gets
until it
typing
dies.
part.
I feel happy that I know.
And then he proceeds to do it all.
That's as far as I can go. The rest of it, I don't know.
Okay.
So thank you everyone for hanging out with us today. For those of you that found us for the first time, we would love if you would hit that follow button. It keeps us going and it makes us feel comfortable in our beds at night. It's like your follow is like a nice warm hug, or possibly a room temperature hug. Since we're in Arizona, we're not really looking for body temp hugs at this time of the year.
Preferably.
Like I want you to be a cold,
Oh,
clammy.
this chair is disappointing after being in the comfy chair for so long.
Yeah, right? But thank you for hanging out with us. We hope you had some fun. Remember, we typically stream 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we do the hobby lunch at 12 noon Pacific time here in the U.S. till 2 p.m. So short, sweet. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, like today, we start streaming at that 2 p.m. slot and go till 5 or 5:30 because we love you. But remember that this week is Nova Open, so Jordan will not be with us on tomorrow's show. So give all of your love and goodbyes to Jordan.
Bye.
Wish him a safe trip. Come see him at the show if you're going to be in the Maryland, Virginia, D.C. area this weekend. We'd love to see you stop by. I will be doing the show solo tomorrow, so you can stop in and join myself and Jen and whoever else may drop in.
Here.
What's that?
I was gonna say I will be here.
Well, I'm the only one painting.
I mean, maybe I'll paint.
But maybe Jen will paint. Well, and then we'll force Jade back into the production room. Well, that sounds like
I'm not
fun.
complaining.
So Jen and I will paint, but we'll be on tomorrow, and then I'll be gone to Nova. So there will be no show on Thursday or Friday, but we'll see you back Tuesday. Because remember, it is Labor Day weekend coming up. So if you're here in the States, have a wonderful holiday weekend. We will not be streaming that Labor Day Monday. But we'll be back in the studio the following Tuesday. So we look forward to seeing you back here no matter when you show up. We hope you find as much time to come hang out with us as possible. Follow all those links that Jabe threw up. The store will get you all the wonderful Monument Hobbies stuff. And we'd love to see you over on the Discord where we have a tremendous community of amazing artists just like yourself. So have a wonderful evening. Remember to show some love in the stream that we're going to throw a raid at. And we will catch you back here mañana. Adios, gang.
Bye.
We're out.